told me like 2 minutes ago. He asking me how to bring up Monday's log. I just told him it's all the same. And it's not day specific.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be fun. It ain't gonna be a fun week. The fans, you know that ain't gonna happen. JG's got to do a better job of hanging on to the football and those sacks, but the overreaction is absurd in my opinion.
There's no way hanging on to the football.
Well,
Situation, you gotta get out, dude.
there was one where he had two hands on the football and the Georgia defender had his arms around his waist. He just dropped. That's one that you gotta tuck and hold on to.
There's a lot of folks talking about football. Don't understand. Like, you in the pocket, you're supposed to have at least 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's responsible for the football, but at the same time,
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain event app.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling 'cause you'll know that you're in love.
At Hiller, we care about your family's comfort all year long. If you get caught without air conditioning this summer, we're offering a free service call with any repair. That's a free service call when we do the work on your HVAC system. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your appointment today.
Call the happy face truck today.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suit your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones. They can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Talking to a mortgage lender is scary stuff to a lot of people. However, I promise it's not scary at all, and it will be the best decision you make in starting the home buying process. If you like peace of mind and having a plan ready, then call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. I'll get you in touch with the right lender and help you get set up for success.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain event.
Guess what time it is? My time. You can check your iPhone. Better say it's our time.
With your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. We are live at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Jason Swain, Ben McKee, Brad Matthews is live there at the Low T Center Studios in beautiful, beautiful Knoxville. It is 4 minutes past the top of the hour, October the 12th. Again, we're live here, Parkside Drive, Beatty Chevrolet. October is Truck Month at Beatty Chevrolet. Always over 100 trucks in stock, most with Beatty's free warranty for life. Silverados, Colorados, Equinox, Blazers, Tahoe, Suburbans, all here, all available. Ben, Brad, good morning, sirs.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
Individuals.
Good morning, my good friends and family. How are y'all?
I'm
We've
good,
been
man.
better.
I'm good. It's always tough coming off a loss on a Monday, but you know, it is what it is, and
It be what it be.
it be what it be.
It do what it do.
And Tennessee has to flush it and get ready for another SEC opponent who is capable of beating you if you don't clean up what you put out there on Saturday. But
That's one word for sure.
we're not playing on Saturday, so we can talk about this thing as much as we want to, as long as we want to, until Tennessee plays again, and that's what we intend to do. So, a tough football game for Tennessee. An opportunity to prove that Tennessee belongs in the same conversation as the SEC division contenders, and it's not over. Certainly, you need some help from Florida to beat Georgia, but today, because the SEC football is a week-by-week league, it's hard to project what's going to happen in November. It's hard to project out. You got to worry about what you're doing right now. You have to worry about the upcoming opponent, and you know, after week 3, Georgia's the best team in the East. It wasn't like that a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Maybe the best team in the SEC.
Maybe they'll have opportunity to prove that this weekend when they play Alabama. But
That Alabama defense. Whew.
For Tennessee, missed out on an opportunity. I won't say you wasted an opportunity, because I think there's an opportunity to learn. You know, you might have lost a football game. You might be 2-1. But if you don't learn from this and you don't get better, it's certainly much more than just one loss. You can't let Georgia beat you twice. And the way to do that is dwelling on what happened and not correcting those mistakes, not watching that film, as brutal as it may be and as tough as it may be to watch yourselves get absolutely dominated. You got to do it, because you have to understand what it's going to take for you to get to that level. Georgia's at that level that Tennessee wants to be at, and you got to watch it. You got to watch every single play, the ones you don't like, the ones you do like, and you have to understand what it takes to be at that level. So there's a lot to pick through. There's some good, a lot of bad. A mirage there at the beginning of the football game. When you look at Tennessee being up there in the first half, it's a mirage. Tennessee is closer, but not there just yet. So, Ben, Brad, you guys opening statements from what you saw on Saturday.
A tale of 2 quarters, in my opinion, or a tale of a quarter and a half and a quarter and a half, because you look at the end of the fourth quarter and it didn't really matter because the game was already out of hand by the 7-8 minute mark after that last strip sack where Monty Rice stripped JG on the sack, scooped it up and ran it back for a touchdown. So the last 2 or 3 possessions combined for both teams didn't really end up mattering because it was 44-21 by that point. But at halftime, I was feeling good because Tennessee looked good in that second quarter, especially offensively. The offensive line was able to give JG some protection and give him some time to throw the football. There were a couple of nice running plays, not big running plays, but nice little 5, 6, 7-yard gains here and there sprinkled throughout the second quarter that allowed the passing game to open up a little bit, and Tennessee took advantage of that. And Tennessee also took advantage of Kirby Smart deciding to go for it on 4th and 1, and obviously Georgia did not get it in that situation. And Jim Chaney turns around, takes a shot at the end zone, and great throw by JG, even better adjustment in the air by Josh Palmer to make that catch and put Tennessee on the board offensively. Obviously, Tennessee had already scored on the fumble on the high snap in the end zone, but the first offensive touchdown and great play by Palmer to make an adjustment and go up and catch the ball, and then a nice little stand by the defensive stand, and then you come back and you score again on a beautiful throw from JG to Palmer. Once again, a beautiful throw by JG, just as beautiful of a catch by Palmer to get that left toe in. And you don't really see that often when a receiver is making a sideline catch, that they get that back foot in. Usually it's the lead foot that you kind of get the toe tap in, but it was cool to see him get the left foot in the end zone, and Tennessee takes the lead there just before halftime. And then you have the tremendous goal line stand. Just absolutely tremendous. Right there before halftime, give you all the momentum going into the locker room. Quavaris Crouch, Jeremy Banks, the D lineman standing tall, allowing Banks and Crouch and Toe to make plays on 1st and goal. You had Bryce Thompson hawk down the running back, who it looked like he was going to get the edge and score there, but Bryce Thompson did a tremendous job of making that tackle out in the open field and saving the touchdown. So you were feeling good at halftime, but then everything that went well in the second quarter, the opposite happened in the third quarter. Offensive line broke down. Had some questions with ball security there, obviously with JG, and it just went downhill. And then by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, which I think it was a 9-score game at the end of the third quarter, or a 9-point game, I'm sorry, at the end of the third quarter, the game was in reach without a doubt at the end of the third quarter. But by that point, the offensive line was in such disarray that the defense had been on the field too long in the third quarter. Did a great job of bailing the offense out, holding Georgia to 2 field goals. Had a 3-and-out in that quarter as well, but the defense was just worn down because of the offense's inability to move the football there in the third quarter. And then Georgia put a nice drive together that put the game away before that last scoop and score touchdown. So just a tale of two halves for me. You had a great opportunity at halftime, and Tennessee was not able to take advantage of that.
Brad?
Yeah, I don't know how much I can add. I can harp on the O-line more, which I know we're going to do for 2+ hours, guys. But I'll tell you what I have to do. I got to do a little drywall work. That first play, the snap over Bennett's head, and we pick it up in the end zone. I kind of jump up from my couch a little bit, and the remote flies out of my hand. And so I got a little ding on the ceiling I got to work on tonight. But other than that, I'll tell you what, guys, story of highs and lows. But one thing that Ben mentioned there at the end, the defense being on the field, the majority of the second half, guys, I felt like they were on the field the whole dang game. Yeah, we had some scores, and the scoreboard in itself is looking good there in the first half, first quarter. But think how quick Tennessee was scoring. It was big plays, chunk plays down the field, and the defense was right back out there. So I think they were out there too long, but it does not mean that we're going to jump straight to them and overlook the offensive line play, which was pretty poor.
Everything that shines is not gold. And the guys on the locker room, Austin and Mark Packer, use this phrase, and it's exactly right. I call it a mirage there in the first half, but the first half was a little bit of fool's gold. Emotionally for Tennessee fans and for players to be up, yes, that's a high. But when you really take away the emotion and you look at what actually went down in the first half, it should have scared you, to be honest, because I was scared, even being up and being in the position that Tennessee was in.
we're used to being down by a lot more in halftime. So when you compare the last couple years at the halftime mark, you're working from behind in those cases. But in this case, you're up, and so it's pretty normal to feel like, oh man, feeling good, everything is good. I'll use a basketball example here. Take one team that is unable to make a shot, is turning the basketball over, and the other team is playing pretty dang well. I mean, really, really well. But you look at the score, and the team that you thought was playing well and the other team was playing bad, they're only down by 2 points at halftime. And you're like, okay, well, I mean, it's good that this team is winning, but at the same time, like, they shouldn't be. And so I look at this Georgia-Tennessee first half, and what I see is a gift from Georgia on a high snap. That's 7 points. What I see was 2 low-percentage throws to the end zone that were touchdowns, and kudos to JG and Palmer and the protection for making that happen. Those are great plays. But at the same time, how much are you going to be able to do that for 60 minutes? It's a low probability, unless you are freaking LSU of last year or you are the Patriots of 2007. Those are low percentage throws. After the first quarter, Tennessee had ran 11 plays, only 32 yards. Georgia, 18 plays, 72 yards. So Tennessee got a fourth down stop, which, if you're Kirby Smart, you should feel comfortable and confident that you should be able to pick up a yard with the offensive line that you have against Tennessee's defensive line. But at the same time, it was a bonehead decision by Kirby Smart. It was a bonehead decision, and it cost him. It cost him 7 points. But
I love that Chaney came right back and immediately took a shot towards the end zone.
Well, normally that's what you do.
Yes.
Change the possession that way, or turnover and downs. That's the perfect time to take a shot deep. And that's what Chaney did. Great protection, and the execution was great. But for me, our football team was not ready for this moment at the beginning.
Completely agree.
You got a present, but early in the football game, you had your leading sack getter, your leading sack artist, who is a senior, make a freshman boneheaded decision that cost his football team. Yep. Quite frankly, it's simple as that. It's not about being hyped. It's not about yelling and screaming, about being, when you ask yourself, are you ready to play in this football game? Being ready means being locked in, understanding situational football, understanding your worth and your impact on your football team, and not putting yourself in position by lapse in judgment to be ejected and hurt your football team. And that's what DeAndre Johnson did. There was no doubt about it. Late. Can't really argue him being ejected. Don't like it, but it is what it is. And he cost his football team.
Yep.
You had drop interceptions again. On Friday, we talked about there's like 1 to 2 plays in these type of football games that can cost you the game or help you win. Mm-hmm. And Tennessee failed to make several of those early. And for me, I was like, oh boy, it's good to be up, man. I'm excited for the throws. I'm excited for Josh Palmer. I'm excited to be up. But once I peel the layers back and really see, okay, guys, we not really moving the ball. We're scoring off gifts. How many gifts do you think Georgia's going to give us? You got a gift on the snap. You got a gift on fourth down and the fourth down stop. It's a gift by Kirby to make that decision, but you ultimately execute it, so you get the credit, yes. But you were fortunate to get that ball at that position of the football field. That's not going to happen for the rest of the game. Kirby's not going to continue to go for it on his own 40, 35-yard line. And so what I was looking for were drives, showing that we could truly move the football. The last 2 weeks on Mondays, I have pointed out how awesome the 10-play drives, the 12-play drives, the 14 drives were. I pointed out for a reason, because that is a telltale sign of how you're flowing and going on defense. On offense. That is a telltale sign. Are you able to sustain drives? Are you able to convert on third down? That tells the picture. A chunk play, that's good, but how many of those can you rely on? And Tennessee was unable to rely on that for 60 minutes. And so if you watch this football game on Saturday, the one thing that I would say that stands out that Tennessee needs to get better at, and that is recruiting. As simple as that.
Yep.
How do you not say that's the first thing that comes to mind? Guys, it showed up. It showed up. It showed up big time.
Yep.
It showed up. It showed up. It's time to turn it up in recruiting. That's as simple as that. You have to turn it up. The playmakers and the talent on Georgia's team allowed Stetson Bennett to be comfortable. It allowed him to make adjustments in the second half and be the better quarterback in this matchup. What you couldn't do. We'll take our first break of the day here at Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive. Swain event fueled by Daddy and Barbecue.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suit your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Nice boat. Yeah, thanks. And thanks to Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union. See, they want to put me at ease when getting my loan with them. Whether that's purchasing a new or used auto, this boat, camper, or even a motorcycle. Let Alcoa 10 help you on your customer journey. Plus, for a limited time, get 90 days till your first payment and an online-only special low rate of 2.44%.
2.44%? Wow.
Right? Go to atfcu.com for details. Equal housing lender. Alcoa 10. It's a win-win.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
At work, can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys in the text box. It's part of the free Swain event app.
865-200-5503 is our telephone number. To the Iris Networks hotline, we are live here at Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive. Here's one thing about Beatty that's so cool. Man, they'll buy your vehicle. Even if you don't trade, you just want to come in and sell a vehicle, they'll buy it from you. certainly they'll trade and get you going in one of their vehicles. I was checking out the pickup trucks this morning. Dark. I had my flashlight on my phone, checking them out, man. Pickup trucks and Suburbans. Me and one other person was the only people here, but I was here bright and early, checking out the vehicles, man. So sweet, man. The Silverados, the Tahoes, the Suburbans, and the Silverados are starting at $29,995 during truck month here in October, Betty Chevrolet. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Guys, the thing that stood out to me was Tennessee needs to get back on the recruiting trail even harder, because this offensive line with all these highly rated players, they got whipped. I mean, you can look at other places all you want to. You can place the blame solely on other people if you want to, and there's a lot of blame to go around, just to be honest. But the offensive line got whipped. The same offensive line that many felt will be one of the best in the country. The same offensive line that many felt would be the reason why Tennessee would have a chance in this football game and maybe win this football game. They got whipped. I mean, it's simple as that. You got whipped up front with the offensive line. Our backs who are good in space, who are great receivers out of the backfield, they didn't have enough butt to provide protection either. They couldn't hold up in pass pro. And I don't know what you expect from any quarterback when he's running for his life and when he has to evade 2-3 rushers on every single passing play. I don't know what you expect. I remember 2007 Super Bowl with the Giants and the Patriots, and the Patriots had broken all these offensive records, and Randy Moss and Tom Brady, man, lit the world on fire, and Brady had over 50 touchdown passes that year. Well, it don't matter, because Georgia's defense got after Tom Brady's butt for 4 quarters. It didn't matter. It don't matter who you got on the outside. It doesn't matter who you got a quarterback. This is why the Texans drafted Mario Williams when Peyton Manning was with the Colts. If you get to the quarterback, it doesn't matter. And Georgia did that. I know everybody wants to blame it on JG. It's easy. It's convenient. Quite frankly, it's lazy. But I don't expect folks to understand the game like those who have played it. And that's not a shot. It's the truth. It's what I expected. I saw people showing Harrison Bailey highlight films trying to justify their reason for playing Harrison Bailey. You should delete your account and start watching football.
Get him.
To be honest. JG played – he didn't play well at all, but I don't know a quarterback who is going to play well when you rush the football for -1 in a football game.
TBA my ass.
-1. -1 rushing yards. What quarterback is going to light the world on fire when you can't run the football? It's what we said all freaking week last week. You got to run the football. You got to run the football. You got to create play action pass. You got to create one-on-one opportunities. You got to run the football. You got to run the football. -1. Ben, go ahead and break it down how the rushing works stuff.
When adjusted for sack yards, which there was I believe 40 yards lost on sacks, but when you adjust the rushing yards to take into consideration sacks, Tennessee rushed for 45 yards and averaged 2 yards a carry, which still is not winning football.
So you want to go and look at what happened? Who's to blame? You got to run the football, guys.
Run the football and protect.
I mean, last week I was talking about, all right, if you get 3 yards or 3.5 yards, that's not what you want, but you can't have 2. You can't have 2 yards per rush, and you certainly can't have -1 yards for the entire game. You're not winning against a good team. It's simple as that. You're not winning.
Swain, help me out with something.
Yes.
I know that this is a factor, so don't group this into every position group. Go with me here. I know recruiting's huge moving forward, but it can't be the only thing that took place on Saturday. I mean, the position where you have recruited and or adhered transfers to the best, overall position group still got whooped. So where's the line? Where's the line of, we need better players, we need more recruits, the top tier talent, and how far do we go back to what are we doing with this talent? Where's the line?
I'm way more on the side of gotta go get some better players because I think I like our running backs, but you don't have really a choice besides those two backs between Ty Chandler and Eric Gray. When I played, we had Cedric Houston, Gerald Riggs, and Jabari Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Those were 3 5-star running backs, 3 guys that could go anywhere they wanted to. In 2004, when Tennessee had 2 1,000-yard rushers, and this is after a year where Jabari Davis was pretty dang good in 03. He had a long touchdown against Fresno State, but then there was a new running backs coach, and Jabari, unfortunately, was kind of the odd man out there. But when you have that talent like that, you can do that. Look over at Georgia's running backs, and then look at our running backs. There's a difference, and so when you can go 1, 2, 3, and then the 2 guys that have been the top over the last 2 games, and then this third guy comes in, you're like, wait a minute, I think he's even better. When you saying that about your running backs, that's when you know you have.
They can really go forward because James Cook didn't play because of a shoulder injury he suffered during Auburn.
So you want to measure yourself up of what it's supposed to look like and what it used to look like. Look at Georgia.
I mean, are 5-star backs going to be making that big of a difference running behind the offensive line, the holes that they provided or the lack thereof?
It ain't just about running. It's about being able to pass block too.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you were speaking about the run game. So
I understand that, but the running game is directly tied to the pass game when you talk about protecting the quarterback. When you don't pose a threat to the defense and they know you can't run, as soon as there's a pass, they're coming to get you. So go get those backs who are big enough to hold up. Also, when they get the ball in their hands, they are like Eric Gray. They are fast and speedy like Todd Chandler. That's why those running backs are 5-stars. You want to know what makes a 5-star running back really a 5-star? Those running backs is what makes
that one run that Kendall Milton had where he broke like 27 tackles.
Yeah, and so I like our running backs, but I've been consistent on this program is we need to be better because you need to be able to say, okay, you're not getting the job done. Come out, I'm bringing someone else in, and then the job is getting done. Yeah. Tennessee can't do that at running back. They can't do that.
Georgia was able to. Zamir White was not having a great day, in my opinion, and the stats reflect that. But Kenny McIntosh and Kendall Milton, the other 2 options, I know Kendall Milton's a true freshman. I think McIntosh is a redshirt freshman, maybe a redshirt sophomore, a younger guy, I believe. They looked better than Zamir White, and Zamir White's the feature back.
Yeah,
he wasn't getting the job done, and they were able to bring in other guys who were getting the job done.
Yeah, they look better in that game. And that's the difference. And so guess what? Georgia's going to go through the season, and Zamir White's going to be the best back in a game or 2. Before that game, he wasn't. But the luxury of being able to switch guys in and out, that's the difference. Now, offensive line, I mentioned him, can't run the football. I mentioned DeAndre Johnson's, not smart play at the beginning. We dropped the interception. I mean, it was a freebie. You dropped it. JG, he's part of the blame too. He's not exempt, nor is he the only reason. So we got to use our brains here.
Well, I mean, the wide receivers are factoring into why he's having to check down so much. I mean, you take out the 2 Palmer deep if you want to consider them deep balls. And the 112-yard pass by or reception by Brandon Johnson.
Which
what's the average
that
attempt?
fired me up.
What's the average attempt for JG?
Well,
it's not high.
It's not high because you don't have time. You don't have time.
Yep.
You don't have time.
But even on times that on occasions, the plays that he did have time, receivers weren't getting open. Consistently, at least.
Ben, what did I text you during the game? Because you were at the game. You covered the game. What did I text you during the game?
Something along the lines of
about the receivers. What did I ask you?
Is any wide receiver getting open? Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. That was sent at 4:44 p.m.
Because Brad, I'm with you, man. I was wondering the same thing because, we can't see, what people there can see. So I'm like, well, if Jared's not throwing the ball down the field with time, what's going on? Are we not getting open? Well, listen, those are 5-star DBs too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to expect for them to win battles too against our wide receivers. But you just need a perfect combination. You need protection and separation. You can't have separation and no protection. That play's not going to go anywhere. You can't have protection, no separation. That play's not going to go anywhere. You got to have protection with the offensive line, and then you got to have separation at the wide receiver or the tight end or whoever's catching the football. So it has to be a mix. You have to have both of them together to have a successful play. And there were too many times when you didn't have both. When you did have both, hey, you had successful plays down the football field. You've had that for the first 3 games. When you have that combination, except for the high throws against South Carolina, separation and protection, we have been pretty dang good. But when you don't have one or the other, you can't expect guys to complete balls. That's not the way football works. So, JG get blamed? Heck yeah, he gets blamed. Heck yeah, he gets blamed. You got to learn how to eat a sack sometimes. You got to eat a sack sometimes. You just have to. But it's tough when you're running from your life. It's tough when you have 2 or 3 guys in your face. It's tough. And on the interception, we watched a little bit of it this morning, and there's hot route options built in. There's some shallow crosses built in to try to get the ball out quick, but one receiver wasn't looking. The other one was unable to get into the eyesight of the quarterback in time because the rush just came that fast. And JG at that moment he made a bad mistake. He didn't turn the football over. He made a bad mistake.
Throw it up.
You got to eat the sack. And I don't know, falling back, if you're able to throw it out of bounds, it probably would have been grounding anyways because it was not a receiver in that area. But let's use our brains this morning. Let's see the whole picture. The whole picture is everybody is to blame. You had -1 rushing yards. So it ain't just the quarterback. It's everybody. And the defense played well in spurts. They played hard as they could, gave the offense opportunities. But at some point, the dam is going to break. When Alabama and Clemson played, when Deshaun Watson won his championship at Clemson, and that Alabama defense was stout that year, being one of the best in the country. But they were on the field too long.
Yep.
They were on the field way too long because Alabama couldn't convert third downs. Jalen Hurts and those boys could not convert third downs. They were terrible. And then eventually, Bama's all-star defense broke and lost the game. So it doesn't matter how great your defense is. If you're on the field too much, you're going to break. And Tennessee's
You
broke.
saw that in the third quarter.
It broke. Yeah, it broke, man. Tennessee defense did a good job for the most part considering the circumstances, but they broke. 865-255-03. Irish Networks hotline, Swain event. Be right back.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain event.
Around the We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy. If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400. When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to OFOKnox.com. That's OFOKnox.com.
Around the SEC, powered by 42nd Street Marketing, your game-winning play call for design, marketing, and branding.
It's time for Around the SEC this morning. Live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. New Blazers, Chevy Blazers here, 28995. All of the Silverados are here. New 4x4 four-door, 29995. Also, they have new vehicles starting at $10,995. Pre-owned vehicles starting at $5,995. Under $6,000 for pre-owned vehicles here at Beatty Chevrolet. So come on out and pick you up a either new vehicle that's starting right at $11,000 or a pre-owned vehicle that's starting right at $6,000. Let's get to Around the SEC. Ben, another week filled with SEC football fireworks.
Yes, nothing made sense in the SEC on Saturday. Literally, the only game that made sense was the South Carolina Vanderbilt game, and South Carolina beat Vanderbilt 41-7.
I mean, somebody picked Texas A&M to beat Florida.
Who?
Ain't no Owls up in here. Ain't no Owls. This is not a lollipop commercial. Ain't no Owls in here. I picked A&M.
I remember you straight up picking them. I remember you.
You wasn't paying attention.
I remember you thinking that they could pull off the upset.
No, I picked Texas A&M. I was reluctant.
So much for my lock of the week.
To pick Missouri. I wanted to pick Missouri, but I didn't. But I definitely picked Texas A&M to beat Florida. You can check the tape on that one.
How come you don't want to mention that my Kentucky Wildcats won?
Did you just say your Kentucky Wildcats?
Yep, my Kentucky Wildcats. Go Big Blue. Big Blue Nation, baby. Hashtag Big Blue Nation.
I ain't surprised that they won.
I'm surprised that Mississippi State scored 2 points.
Nah, that's a surprise. But boy, that bandwagon getting empty, ain't it? That Mike Leake bandwagon.
I think we can understand now, in hindsight, why Mississippi State was able to have success week 1 against LSU. Because LSU's defense is booty terrible. I mean, it is awful. Bo Pelini.
And it'll have been a surprise.
LSU's defensive coordinator is making $2.3 million, and they gave up 45 points to a Missouri offense that, Swain, I don't believe is very good. I just think LSU's defense is that bad. And Missouri was losing or without 3 of their best receivers. I think they were without a running back as well and an offensive lineman because of COVID. And they put up 45. Connor Bazelak threw for 406 yards against LSU. So in hindsight, that LSU-Mississippi State game makes sense now. LSU's defense is terrible. And Mississippi State benefited because Mississippi State since has not looked good whatsoever.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Stingley played in that game.
Yes, he did. He's played in the last 2 games. But as Swain mentioned, Texas A&M beat Florida 41-38. That was a fun viewing experience. Always seen the Florida Gators lose. The offense was not able to run the ball for Florida. But Kyle Trask still put up 300 passing yards and I think threw for 4 touchdowns. But the story was the defense. Florida could not stop a nosebleed once again. Man. Florida's defense has not looked good the first 3 weeks of the season. When you go back to the Ole Miss game week 1, you look at the South Carolina game last week, and then you look at A&M, teams have been able to put up points. I believe they've given up over 100 points to begin the season. So Florida goes down, and then as we just spoke about, Missouri beat LSU 45-41, which is really embarrassing if you're LSU. Missouri's offense, in my opinion, is not good. To give up 45 points and over 400 passing yards to them while they had key players out of commission due to COVID-19 protocols is embarrassing. South Carolina got its first win over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt now 0-3. Tennessee obviously lost to Georgia. Auburn won over Arkansas, even though they should have taken an L in that one. That Bo Nix intentional grounding was not intentional grounding. It was a fumble.
It was a fumble, man.
But the refs got that one wrong. Yeah, I thought they missed it as well. Auburn sneaks out a 30-28 win. They finally ran the football. Tank Bigsby, their freshman, had 146 rushing yards, but Bo Nix did not look all that great. And Arkansas should be 2-1 right now under Sam Pittman, but that's a different conversation. Alabama did not look great defensively against Ole Miss, but still put up 63 points and beat Ole Miss 63-48. And then Kentucky beats Mississippi State 24-2 and forced 6 interceptions. KJ Costello had 4 interceptions, and then Mississippi State backup quarterback had 2 interceptions. So
I saw one where he threw from his own end zone, and it was, Kentucky had like a 6-yard interception return.
Yeah,
I mean, goodness gracious, man, that was terrible.
Yeah, Kentucky only scored 14 points or 17 points offensively, and Terry Wilson was 8 of 20 throwing the football. Now that is misleading. He had, I believe the final count was 6 drops on the outing. So that statistic is a little misleading, and they weren't able to run the football like they typically do. Terry Wilson had 50 yards. Chris Rodriguez, their leading rusher from a running back standpoint, had 38 yards. A.J. Rose, 22 yards. So Kentucky didn't look all that great. Mississippi State is just bad.
Played bad that game for sure.
Yeah, played bad the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So just another weekend around the SEC of nothing at all making sense. I know you called the win over Florida from A&M's perspective, but I was with Brad. I thought that Florida being 6.5-point favorites was the lock of the day, just based off of how A&M performed against Vanderbilt and Alabama to begin the season. I know Florida had defensive issues going into the game, but with the way that their offense had been playing, I figured that at least the defense could spot them a touchdown at minimum. So I was with Brad on that one. And then obviously didn't see Missouri putting up 45 points.
No, I didn't see that one.
South Carolina was really the only game that made sense, beating down Vanderbilt.
No, I mean, for me, you got 2 games on film. And once you have a weakness, you better be ready for the opponent to try to exploit that weakness. And for Florida, they could stop the run. They couldn't stop explosive plays. And Texas A&M had the personnel to be able to exploit those plays, and they just had to go out and do it. And A&M probably should have won by a lot more, if you ask me, because A&M shot themselves in the foot. They had a stretch there the third, fourth quarter where they were beating themselves, just dumb penalties after dumb penalties. Showed some signs of Jimbo Fisher's tenure there at Florida State when they started to decline and started to show a lack of discipline. So they stumped out of it and got the job done, and Florida was the one who fumbled and turned the football over late in that football game, and A&M was able to win. So
as good as Florida's passing attack is, they cannot run the football right now. They can't. That offense is one-dimensional. And talk about running the football. Isaiah Spiller for A&M, he is a beast, 174 rushing yards.
He a problem.
He is.
He's a problem. This is why there was expectations with the Tennessee football team, because we felt like we had an opportunity to run the football more consistently and be, able to control football games. And we saw Tennessee be able to do that against Missouri, and we saw flashes of it against South Carolina. And Tennessee just ran to the best defense in the country, quite frankly. I mean, show me a better defense in the country.
There's not right now.
Yeah, so Georgia's
maybe
best
Clemson, but I would take Georgia's.
What'd you say, Brad?
I don't think there will be a better defense when it's all said and done at the end of this season.
Nope. I said it on Friday that that Tennessee's offensive line had a chance to win its matchup with Georgia's defensive front, but in my opinion, this weekend's game was the one game on paper all season long in which, even though as good as Tennessee's offensive line is, they weren't the better unit within their respective matchup. And I do think that is a glass half full takeaway that you can have from this football game, is that Georgia's defense is just really, really good. And Tennessee's offensive line looked good against South Carolina and Missouri. You can argue that they should have played better against South Carolina, but they still looked good against Carolina for the most part. Looked really good against Missouri, obviously. So outside of just playing the elite talent, and I think there needs to be another word for that Georgia defense, because it is just far and above elite. I mean, it is something serious.
Superior.
So my point is that I still think Tennessee's offensive line is going to be able to handle business throughout the season, and we'll look back on this game, and part of it will just chalk up to being Georgia's defensive front is just ridiculously nasty.
Georgia will be the only team besides one other team in this conference that the talent gap will be so wide that you will need to play your best game, and they will have to play their worst game for you to win. That's probably Alabama.
Yeah, but even with the way that Alabama defense has played, if I think Tennessee offensive line will have the advantage in the line of scrimmage in that game as of today, with the way Alabama has played the first 3 weeks of the season. Tennessee's offensive line should have success, in my opinion. They're struggling up front.
I'm not going to. You may be right, but I'm talking about having more points at the end of the football game.
Yes, no,
that's my point.
I'm with you.
So when you look at the long term or the big picture with this Tennessee football team, they have a chance. They have a chance to win 7+ games here, but they have to stay healthy. They have to learn from Saturday's beatdown, and they have to go out and get better each and every day. Not surprised Georgia's defense played the way they played, man. You got to think about it, man. All we heard all week was about Tennessee's offensive line, what they did to Missouri. You don't think Georgia got fired up seeing that? I know when I played and we were playing against a really good DB group and all we heard about was this corner and that safety, we were like, all right, okay. And every day at practice, man, it
about to torch these fools.
Yeah, man. So you got to think about it from Georgia's point of view there. All you heard was Tennessee, offensive line, Tennessee this, Tennessee that. And they answered. They answered the challenge. So,
and Tennessee's offensive line is going to have to bounce back real quick. Say what you will about Kentucky football. Its defensive line is not the issue. Quentin Bohannon will give Brandon Kennedy and Trey Smith and whoever is at right guard problems quick, fast, and in a hurry if they don't snap and clear, to use a Butch Jonesism. If they don't rebound and reset mentally, they'll get beaten down on Saturday.
This game will be another game in the trenches because this is what Kentucky will try to do. This is how they play. This is how Mark Stoops has built his football program because he understands this is how you win. You win from within in this league, and if you want to have long-term success, that's the way you have to play. And the reason why Kentucky has been more successful than what we're accustomed to is because they've been good in those areas. When you see guys playing in the NFL from Kentucky, they've benefited from improved play up front. Benny Snell for the Steelers, man. Hey, they've made a commitment to run the football.
Well, and two of the best defenders in football are front seven members from Kentucky with Zadarius Smith, is that his first name, with the Packers, and then Bud Dupree with the Steelers.
Yeah, so, be ready for another, heavyweight matchup as far as the trenches. Now, here's and I know it's still Monday, we're still talking about Georgia, but I'm telling you, DBs, you will have opportunities.
Yes.
And we've had 3 drop interceptions in the last 2 games. You got to pick the ball off.
Yep.
You're going to be given opportunities to pick the ball off. And edge rushers, guys that have to have contained. I mean, there was one time I saw number 9 for Tennessee just lose it. And I can't have that. But you have a quarterback in Terry Wilson that could have 100 yards rushing if you ain't careful. I mean, he can have 100 yards in the first half if you're not careful. So, that's the challenge this week for Tennessee. But let's go to the text box this morning.
It's popping.
Oh, I'm sure. No, I'm sure. It should be, man. It should be. Chris in Clarksville says, on to Kentucky. Still have excellent chance for a dang good season. Absolutely. Absolutely. For the players and the coaches and everyone involved in that building, it is on to Kentucky. But for us, it's perfectly fine to talk about this butt whooping on a Monday. It's perfectly fine. But Clarissa's right. That's the mentality inside the locker room. At least it should be, and that's how you have to be. When you play a 10-game SEC schedule, you don't have time to think much about the past win or the past loss. You don't have time for that. It's one thing if you were playing, McNeese State this week, and you came out flat against McNeese State because you're still, reeling from the loss, but you got to flush it, and I expect these guys to do that. Cook Vival says, so glad to hear you say JG didn't have time. Knew he would take a beating this week, but it's not all on him. Yeah, I mean, anybody with any football IQ can watch that football game and see that it wasn't all on one person. It wasn't all on one person. He didn't play well at all. Interception, fumbles. He didn't play well. You can't say he played well. But let's not sit here and act like this is BYU. No. BYU, his performance is what lost the football game, on top of some boneheaded in-game decisions defensively from our players in the last drive. This ain't BYU. This is not BYU game. This is a different game. So there's plenty of blame to go around. But hey, if you want to be lazy and take it easy, then blame JG for all of
replay
it.
of each day's
Be right back.
Swain Event TV. Like us on Facebook.
Guys, Low T Center is open for normal business hours, including Saturdays. Their goal is to help you be the best and healthiest version of you. And right now, if you are concerned with social distancing, Low T Center can help with at-home treatment options for current patients. And they also have great options for new patients too. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted. They'll even help verify it for you. And just a reminder, if you're feeling bad, have a fever, or travel to high-risk areas, please stay home. If you'd like to learn more about getting a comprehensive health assessment, be sure to call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388. Or you can schedule an appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Always remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Made in Tennessee Business Fiber Internet from Iris Networks. Find business solutions for you at irisnetworksusa.com.
All right, guys, it's time for Attaboy, highlighting positivity, and we are highlighting positivity thanks to Iris Networks USA. 90 days, no payment for business internet. They sponsor Attaboy here in the Swain event. irisnetworksusa.com. I'm giving my Attaboy to, once again, Alex Smith, who not only has been playing as far as practicing and being right there in the rotation at the quarterback position, but because Kyle Allen was knocked out of the game on Sunday, Alex Smith played in a game, like actually played. Took a sack, got beat up a little bit.
Dude, he took 6 sacks, and 4 of them were from Aaron Donald.
He got beat up. He got beat up. But that mental hurdle of getting hit and nothing broke. Getting hit, I'm not on the stretcher. When you have a major injury, and listen, I've had knee procedures, nothing like what Alex Smith went through.
Yeah, almost lost his leg.
Yeah, man, nothing compared to that. But being able to get over that mental hurdle. 'Cause physically, you're back, but you don't play the way you're capable of playing until mentally you trust your leg or you trust your arm or whatever the injury is. And so he was able to do that. It was good to see everyone in sports just sit back and just give Alex Smith the love and appreciation that he deserves. So I've put Alex Smith on not for well, but Attaboy so many times. But this is a new milestone for him, and that's actually playing the game, taking a hit, something that he hasn't done in a very, very long time. So he gets the attaboy today.
He and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers get an attaboy from me today. I am not a Lakers fan. I could care less about the Lakers winning the NBA Finals, but it is really cool to see them win it this year of all years, following the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant. So I thought that was a really cool story. And I am a LeBron fan, so I don't care about the Lakers winning the championship, but I am happy to see LeBron win his fourth title. But the Lakers organization winning it the year that Kobe passes away tragically, that's a pretty cool story. So the Lakers get an attaboy from me as well.
Yeah, give that man some damn respect. Ben, we saved the best for last. I thought you were going to do it. I was going to go to the Lakers, but hey, I'll do this one for you. You deserve it. Chase Claypool, the rookie wide receiver for the
best
Pittsburgh
rookie wide
Steelers.
receiver in the NFL.
My goodness, I texted you on draft day about him. I didn't think he'd be this good, but 7 receptions, 110 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and they also had one on the ground as well. 4 total touchdowns.
Ballin'.
And ties a historic cooking there in Pittsburgh.
Balling. Since the music has stopped, that means attaboy is done.
So we go back to being negative and killing everybody.
So I can bring this up. Brad, your team is the 3rd best team in the division. Do you realize this?
Excuse me?
Let me clear my throat just in case you didn't hear me the first time.
Let me clear my throat.
Your team, the Baltimore Ravens, in the AFC North, your team is the 3rd best team in the division right now.
That's incorrect, Swain. I don't know what
right
you're
now,
buddy.
Your team is the 3rd best team now.
I'm not with you on that one.
Okay.
Swain,
I know what I saw.
What are you on this morning, bro?
I saw what the Ravens did to the Browns less than a month ago.
Clap that tail.
Right now, the Browns are a better football team than the Ravens. What you didn't see is what the Browns did to the number 1 defense in the NFL in the Indianapolis Colts.
They didn't play the Steelers yesterday.
The Colts is right up there with the Steelers. I don't know about the numbers as far as who's better, but the Colts is one of the best defense in the league, if
Colts
not the
number
best.
1 scoring defense.
Okay, so again, I don't know the stats, but I know what I see when I watch the Colts, and that defense is real.
Yep.
And I saw what Baker Mayfield and those Browns did to the Colts, and they have been running the football very successfully this football season. Right now, I need you to clean the earwax out y'all ears. Right now, I'm going with the Browns. Right now. Right now. Your Ravens obviously was better when they played, but right now, I think the Browns are a little bit better.
We'll pick them up on a Monday night game. We'll go back-to-back days, and we'll still clap those Browns.
When's the next Browns-Ravens matchup? Do you know off the top of your head, Brad?
Yeah, we play Philly next week. I'll look it up for y'all.
I know the Browns and Steelers play this weekend.
That's going to be a good one right there, man.
That will be a good one.
That's the matchup of the NFL.
I'm not.
December 14th.
I don't think
we play the Steelers twice before we play the Browns again.
So that game will look totally different than what we think it will right now because it's so far away. But I don't think Swain's like crazy at all for thinking
I don't think
that.
he's crazy.
The Browns are playing really good football. I want to see the Browns do it against another good team before I buy into them because they are 3-1, 4-1, 4-1, 4-1.
Yeah.
But outside of the Colts, they've beaten the Washington football team. And they struggled in that game, the Cowboys, and they almost blew that game. And then they barely
the most
beat
points in the division.
They barely beat Joe Burrow on Thursday Night Football. So I think the Browns are playing good football right now. As you said, they're really running the football, which has opened up the passing attack for Baker Mayfield.
Right now.
But I want to see him do it. If the Browns come out and beat my Steelers this weekend, I'll be with you.
Okay. No,
I want to see one more game.
Yeah,
I mean, Big Ben's going to throw for 400.
I hope
the
so.
The secondary's awful.
Yeah, and that's why I say they're the second best team. Steelers are the best. I think the Steelers are the second best team in the league right now. That's just my opinion. Maybe third if you want to throw in the Chiefs. You know, Chiefs lost their first game of the season, but the Seahawks are playing lights out and they're undefeated. So Yeah, I mean that's just me right now. I think the Browns are different, man, this year than they were in the past, and that AFC North, man, is stacked this season. Right now. There's 3 legit playoff teams right now, and we know that all 3 of those guys won't go. That stinks, but
Remember in the preseason when I said the Browns were a dark horse Super Bowl contender?
see now you playing.
You still don't think they're a dark horse Super Bowl contender?
Dark horse. I'll say dark horse.
Hey, Swain, do you want to know who the #1 scoring defense is now after this past week?
Who?
That'd be the Baltimore Ravens.
Who have the Ravens played outside of the Chiefs?
Hey, Swain went with stats with the Colts earlier. I'm coming back with it. That's it.
There's scoring defense. There's yards per game, and there's a couple different ways to determine who's the best defense. But the Colts is a dang good defense. They're top 5 defense.
Yeah, oh for sure. The
They're
Ravens are good once again this year, but there is something that isn't ticking the same as last year.
100%.
I don't know what it is, but
we're replacing a bunch of guys on defense.
I'm glad to see it as a
replacing our
Steelers
best
fan.
offensive lineman.
Let me go to the text box this morning. Let's see.
Swain's like, get off this Ravens talk. Good God.
Yeah, let me go to the phone. Excuse me. We have, let me see here. Tony in Kingsport. Tony, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I would say happy Monday, but I'm still going to say happy Monday because it is Monday.
It is Monday, and last time I checked, man, we got a pulse this morning, so no reason not to be happy.
I'm just going to get into it, and I just have a couple of questions. First, I played on the line, so I am a little bit defensive of the line, and yes, they didn't play as well as we expected, but I think they're getting undue flack for the whole situation, and I'm going to go into the reason why. First, as a quarterback, there are some things that the line can't see, and the one play that I'm talking about is when the safety came tearing in from 15 yards back and basically read the snap count before he even got to it. There are some things that I think that need to be seen from the quarterback level so that you can help your line adjust their blocks. But the other thing is, people have been blaming JG, people are blaming the line. Where's Chaney in all this?
Everybody gets blamed, but I mean,
that's my question. Where was Chaney making any adjustments? The plays that looked like when they were running the ball looked like the same play over and over again. I thought, well, what is this, Johnny Major's third down football? We're going to run the ball right up the middle every time? It seemed just weird that we weren't trying to find some way to loosen up that Georgia defense through offensive adjustments, because Georgia came out and they made their adjustments, and you could see that through the start of the second half.
I thought
we weren't seeing any offensive adjustments to at least give us a chance. And that's my I'll leave you with that and your thoughts on that.
I thought Chaney made some adjustments there. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not blame. Again, everybody's to blame, and so when you lose a game like this, you just can't point to one person. You got dominated. You got dominated. Georgia could have put up 50. This is where I will never just point at one person or one group. This is a collective effort. This is a collective butt kicking. But I thought Chaney tried to make some adjustments. One thing that's an extension of the running game is screens. And I thought we saw that with Jalen Hyatt. Try to get the ball out fast and try to get to the perimeter.
Georgia's defense just stayed home on that reverse.
You're not going to do a toss sweep to the outside, not with these fast-flowing guys. So how can you get the ball out fast to the perimeter that can be somewhat of an extension of the running game, but not be so obvious like a toss sweep? I mean, you work on toss sweeps defensively, just in pursuit drills. Like who can't stop a toss sweep? And you're not going to be able to run those against Georgia anyway. So I thought Chaney tried to make some adjustments, but I don't know how much adjustments you can make when you have a quarterback that doesn't have 2.75 seconds to throw the football, and you can't run the football. I mean, what play do we expect? There's not a play in Madden. There's not a play in college football, 2K7 or whatever the last game was. Like, there's not a football play that can be successful consistently if you're not blocking up front. And, Tony, I feel you, man. I understand, man. You offensive lineman at heart, and so, you hate to see your line getting pounded. But Tony mentioned one play. One blitz from the safety. But what's the explanation for -1 rushing yards? So we're looking at more than just one play, man. We're looking at the entire game. And the entire game, the line didn't do their job. The quarterbacks didn't do his job. The offensive coordinator, because of the offensive line and the quarterback not playing well, it made his job that much harder. And then it made Tennessee's defense's job that much harder. That's why football is a complementary game. If one side doesn't do their job, it makes everybody else's job hard. If the defense can't stop a nosebleed, it makes the opposing the offensive coordinator for your team, it makes his job harder. It puts more pressure on your offense. All I'm saying is stop pointing the finger at one person. It's everybody's fault. It's everybody's fault. I've played in games like this where you got beat up. And I've been on the winning end of beating someone else up. And you didn't lose because of one person. All I'm saying is stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. It's more than one person. It ain't on just the quarterback. You see Jabari Davis, you see Gerard Parrish, you see guys that played the game on Twitter saying, hey, man, it ain't all on the quarterback. That might be a clue. Not saying the quarterback didn't play bad. He didn't play good. But he is part of the equation. He's not the equation.
He's part of the equation. He's not the answer.
He's not the reason why Tennessee played poorly like they did. Tennessee's defense, man, stopped the run. Some key moments, man, had a goal line stand, and man, that was a huge moment in that game. That was the biggest play of the first half. You can go look at touchdowns. You can go look at the recovered fumble, but psychologically, that was the biggest play in the first half because that was Georgia saying, we're better than you, we've recruited better than you, this is what we do, and we're going to run the football. How disrespectful was it that Kirby Smart attempted to go for it on 4th down and 1 on his own 30-something yard line?
Well, was it disrespectful or was it stupid?
It was disrespectful if you're Tennessee. If you're Tennessee and someone's going for it on their own 30-something yard line, you should take it as disrespect. They think that they should be able to just get a yard with ease. Doing it at midfield is one thing. Do it on your own, inside your own 40, you should take it as disrespect. So you should already know what Kirby and that offensive staff, what their mentality is, and what they thought about Tennessee's defensive front. So to go down to the goal line and to have that stop, that was a psychologically huge play, for Tennessee. It was big time. That was a huge play. So you got to give credit there. There's some good things that showed up in the football game. There's some good things.
I thought Tennessee played fairly well in the first half. I thought Garantano played well in the first half. 11 of 13 at halftime, made 2 nice touchdown throws. Palmer had 2 great catches. The pass protection was good on those throws, and you didn't have any big-time runs, like I said earlier, to start the show, but you had 4-yard runs here and there, 5-yard runs here and there, 6-yard runs. There weren't a ton of them, but there were a handful of them that gave you some optimism that Tennessee was going to move the football. Thanks, Siri. I thought Tennessee responded in the first half to Georgia coming back after the snap that went into the end zone and taking a 14-7 lead. Tennessee was able to step up defensively, make some key plays, whether it was disrespectful or not by Kirby Smart to go for it on that 4th and 1, Tennessee's defense still did a tremendous job of getting that stop right there and setting up the offense to score. And then the huge goal line stand to start to end the half after a couple of penalties that I thought put the defense in bad situations, penalties that should not have happened, in my opinion. I did not like the Jalen McCullough pass interference. I thought he got there about on time with the receiver. I thought the ball was high and uncatchable. I did not like that. That set up Georgia to score. And then this was later in the game, but Georgia scores because of Bryce Thompson getting pushed in the back, a block in the back. That's not called. So there were positives to take away from the game. And I believe that in hindsight, a couple of weeks down the road from now, maybe when we get into November towards the end of the season, I think we're going to look back and look at this football game as Georgia just being really good. I kind of have that opinion. We'll see if that plays out. But I thought there were some positives to take away from Saturday's game. The first half was an indication that Tennessee's program is absolutely headed in the right direction. And then the second half was a nice reminder that Tennessee has to do some recruiting. So I think there were positives to take away, but obviously it's always going to be negative the Monday after you lose by several points to your rival.
Let me go to the phones this morning.
Got JB in Georgia.
Let's get to JB. JB, good morning.
What's up, buddy? How are y'all this morning?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. A couple things. I didn't get to catch all of hour one, so maybe you've already kind of talked about a couple of these things. So I just kind of want to throw them out there, and I'll hang up and let y'all talk. But first off, everybody's talking about JG and how bad he played, whole 9 yards. And we place all the blame on JG. But if we remember the Alabama game last year on the QB sneak, when the rest of the guys were doing what they were supposed to do, you can look back and say, well, if JG would have did what the play was, or JG would have did what he was supposed to, then success would have been had.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can look at this and you say, well, JG's best option was, well, he should have just held the ball and took the sack. And then he would have been crucified on the other end.
Yeah.
This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, I don't know how many options were there really when there was no rushing attack, no real open receivers, and it was either try to make something or take the sack, and all off season he got crucified for holding the ball too long and taking a sack. So it's kind of like no matter what, the guy's not going to win. The guy's going to be, unless he comes out looking like Peyton Manning or Joe Montana, he's not going to get any decent kind of credit for anything, and not that he deserves any credit for the Georgia game, but it's kind of like there's not much he could have done in that situation.
JB.
And I think for people not at least acknowledging that, it's kind of bad on our part as fans. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I'll tell you what will be said in the film study room when he's coached up by his position coach. Obviously, they're gonna say turnovers are bad, and at the end of the day, you are responsible for the football. But at the same time, hey man, that's tough. Anybody in that position, it's a lose-lose with that pass rush. You got 2 or 3 guys in your face, and they say, hey man, next time, just make a quicker decision in the flow of the game, and you haven't had time for a consistent 30, 45 minutes of that football game. Through 3 quarters. The critique that I would probably expect is just eat it, just take the sack. Try to throw it away if you can. That's better than turnover. But in hindsight, that's easy to say right now. But I feel what you're saying. I get it. I mean, I'm not making an excuse for JG turning the football over, but it's different than having the time in the world in the pocket, making a bad read, and throwing the ball for an interception like he did against BYU.
Yes.
This is different for me. So yes, he will be corrected. Yes, he will be taught about. I mean, he will be taught to have 2 hands on the ball as much as possible. But at the end of the day, he's not going to get crucified by his coaching staff, which is really who matters here, not Billy Bob. His coaching staff will say, "Hey, man, this is what you need to do," but we understand why what happened, And I'm pretty sure Jim Chaney will take a little responsibility to make JG feel better. Say, hey, man, I should have had you in a better play. And that's what I expect to happen.
I thought
in between the walls.
The issue on that play to me, kind of looking back on it, was the protection, not in terms of guys just whiffing on their assignments, but in terms of pre-play, that it didn't look like they were in the right protection because you had four defenders coming off the left side of that line going up against 2 or 3 blockers, depending on which way Brandon Kennedy was blocking. I don't know if he shaded to the right to help Cade Mays at right guard, or if he was shading to the left to help the left side of the offensive line. I can't remember, but it looked like
JG feels the pressure, senses it from the right side, starts backpedaling, has 2 Georgia defenders in his face, and then throws one off his back foot in the middle of nowhere. It is a bad play. It's worse than the BYU thing. I think that is where you do take a sack. And if people
worse than BYU?
want to blame,
that wasn't worse than BYU.
I think it is, honestly, or at least up there with it. I mean, I know he's got more time. He's making a bad read, but that's kind of like what we expected from JG at that point. This point, you are a fifth-year quarterback in the SEC. Obviously, the protection has immediately faltered. You eat the sack. Don't throw a ball up into the middle of the football field, or maybe on that left hash, but still in the middle of the football field in the grand scheme of things, off your back foot. I'd take a grounding call before that.
Yeah.
Take a sack before that.
He said after the game,
he was smarter.
JG said after the game that he was trying to get it to his hot receiver, which was the running back out of the backfield, and
when JG was trying to throw, he wasn't ready.
Yeah, and that he wasn't. That when he was throwing the football, the hot option was not there, and then he got hit, and the ball sailed on him. So he took the blame for it, as he should. He took responsibility for it.
Even if he is looking, he's not catching that ball.
Why wouldn't he catch it?
He's in the middle of 2-3 defenders. It's overthrown. I don't think the intended wide receiver is catching that football, even if he is aware of it.
The hot route was open coming out of the backfield. The problem was that
he wasn't looking.
He was not looking, which I believe it was Eric Gray. That's what it. If I'm not mistaken, he was.
So y'all are talking about the option before he released it downfield.
I'm looking at the
not the intended wide receiver.
Well, he was the intended receiver. By the time JG got rid of the football, he was not open, as you are saying.
Okay.
But coming out of the backfield, which looked like it was almost on a wheel route, it looked like he was coming open, and JG was wanting to get him the football, but Eric Gray was not looking at him.
I got you.
And there were 2 or 3 Georgia defenders coming untouched off of the edge, and JG either has to lob it over the Georgia defenders coming, or the Georgia defenders are going to intercept that or bat it right into the ground. So the best option for JG right there was either to take an intentional grounding call or to take the sack.
Yeah,
because by the time he did throw it to the hot route, you're right, Brad, it was covered. But coming out of the backfield, it was open, but Eric Gray wasn't looking back, probably because he did not expect to need to look back at that
chip block.
Yeah.
So when you have rubs on plays, those are built-in blitz reactions. Okay, those are quick throws. Quarterback can make a decision and get the ball out. So what I see here is a rub concept where Jalen Hyatt is the underneath man. Well, when you are the underneath man and you're getting the rub, there's no reason for you to be looking for the football until you at least cross the ball. Because you're not going to get the ball until you get into the eyesight of the quarterback. I'm looking at Jalen Hyatt running this crossing route, and this will be a coaching point. This is not blaming Jalen Hyatt or anything, but this should just be a coaching point because everyone's getting coached up. So when you're watching film in meetings, quarterbacks are in their room, receivers are in their room, linemen are in their room, running backs are in their room. So everyone's getting coached up on their routes or their job every single play. And so T. Martin is what I expect for him to say is, hey, on crossing routes, man, there's no reason for you to look up or look for the ball until you at least pass the ball. And if it's man, you continue to go. If it's zone, obviously you sit down in that zone, if it's a crossing route. But this play just was not executed well by Tennessee, and Georgia made a great play. And there's a lot of things you could have done different, but and maybe Chaney's going to be able to look at this and go, hey, man, I could have called something better too. I mean, it's 3rd down and 1. And unfortunately, you should be able to run the football in this situation, but because you couldn't run the football, you put yourself in this position. And this is why running the football is important. You should be able to pick up a yard running the football in these type of games, but you couldn't. This is why you had to pass the ball.
Yeah, and I think it looks like the big problem to me on that play was that the offensive line, Tennessee's offense in general, was not in the correct protection pre-snap. Because, I mean, there's just 3 guys coming untouched on the left side of the offensive line. Now, granted,
it shouldn't be like that unless it's a screen.
Left tackle Wanye Morris has fallen down quickly and is MIA on the play. But still, you had 2 guys coming off the edge blitzing, and there's only Wanye Morris and Trey Smith over there.
I thought it was a screen initially.
Based off the way Tennessee's offensive line blocked it, it does look like a screen. So I would be curious to know what protection Tennessee was in on that play before the snap, and maybe what protection they should have been in because they allowed two Georgia defenders to come off the edge free. So it looks like that was the issue with the play because Eric Gray was open coming out of the backfield, and it looks like he's on a wheel route and progression number 1, or at least the hot option. You could have gotten it to him quickly in hopes of picking up that first down, but the protection was poor, and then JG did a poor job of panicking in that situation and just trying to chunk it up and pray for something good to happen, and it bit Tennessee in the butt.
So right here in the text box, I mentioned -1 yards rushing, and then I gave Ben an opportunity to share how many yards we had rushing from our running backs, in which Ben did that, and we averaged 2 yards per carry.
Had 45 rushing yards when you adjust the numbers for sacks.
So, Rod, not cherry picking the stats, gave Ben the opportunity to give you the entire picture. So I don't know if you just tuning in or if you missed that part, but I'm sorry, -1 yards and 45 yards is not that big of a difference running the football. It's still bad. 2 yards carry is not good. So we understand from week 1's lesson that net rushing yards is different than yards from the running back position. So you didn't run the football effectively. Simple as that. 45 rushing yards for an offensive line that has several NFL players on it is unacceptable, period and point blank. But if it makes feel better that it's 45 instead of -1, then cool. If it makes you feel better. But both of them, it's still bad.
It does make me feel a little better, Swain. -1 is embarrassing.
Okay.
Embarrassing.
45 is embarrassing.
40. It is, but it sounds better than -1.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective on this Monday.
Ain't much different to me.
Hush. It's better than -1.
It ain't much different, man. 865-255-03 is our telephone number to the Iris Networks hotline. Swain event fueled by Daddy and Barbecue.
While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee. When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com. Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Nice boat.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union. See, they want to put me at ease when getting my loan with them. Whether that's purchasing a new or used auto, this boat, camper, or even a motorcycle. Let Alcoa 10 help you on your customer journey. Plus, for a limited time, get 90 days till your first payment and an online-only special low rate of 2.44%.
2.44%? Wow.
Right? Go to atfcu.com for details. Equal housing lender. Alcoa 10. It's a win-win.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. irisnetworksusa.com.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Daddy and Barbecue, live here at Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive. It is Truck Month during the month of October here at Beatty Chevrolet. The warranty for life, this is the way it works here at Beatty. Anything new or used, 2015 or newer with 60,000 miles or less, Beatty is going to mirror the manufacturer's powertrain warranty for as long as you own the vehicle. There are some exclusions, but heavy-duty and exotic vehicles, but that's it. Beatty Chevrolet, warranty for life. They will trade for anything. You can also sell your vehicle to Beatty Chevrolet. There's new 2021 Tahoes, new Suburbans in stock and available. Pre-owned vehicles starting at $5,995. New vehicles starting at $10,995 here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, Brad Matthews, and let's go back to the phones this morning. Let's see here if those lines are still holding up. Rusty, Turkey Man, and Nathan. Rusty, good morning.
Good morning, Swain. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm okay. If you'll indulge me. I'd like to give my opinions on what happened Saturday and then
Please.
never talk about it again. I'll talk about moving forward these next 7 games the rest of the year. Is that okay?
Please, go ahead. Go for it.
I thought we were horribly mistake-filled to start the ball game.
Correct.
I think that's without a doubt. We were so good at penalties not the first 2 weeks, and we just played like we were overhyped. I don't know what it was. DeAndre Johnson's thing was a huge mistake. Having said all the mistakes, somehow we overcame that. We got our heads on right, and we go into halftime with a lead on the number 3 team in the nation, who I felt like our defense was starting to get their feet under them and was starting to slow them down. We had just forced them to give us the ball back, shutting them down on 4th down.
Yep.
And I felt like the best medicine would have been to keep pounding the rock and to, if we had to punt, change field position, which is what Pruitt said he wanted to do going into the ball game, was play field position back and forth and make them go the length of the field. And I felt like with the lead we could have done that. Now here's where I'm going to get upset about some stuff. On 3rd and 14, on the first drive of the ball game, the second half, with a 4-point lead on Georgia, who has a okay offense that we were starting to get under control, and a defense that you cannot drop back deep on 3rd and 14. And I don't believe they're going to give up a 3rd and 14 all year. That defense is too good on 3rd and 14 to drop back and throw on. You got to hand the ball off, run a draw, throw a safe screen that you can just throw into the dirt if they pick it up, whatever, and you punt the ball. But instead we drop back, and obviously the thing that's going to happen against that defense is a sack fumble, a pick, something bad's going to happen. And what happens is sack fumble. But so that's on the OC calling a drop back pass play against that defense, in my opinion. All day long, you do not do that against that defense. I think we can all agree that was a bad call by the OC. But the defense.
Which one? Which bad call? The interception?
The 3rd and 14 calling a drop back pass against that defense is a bad call.
3rd and 14.
The one game where
the sack for 14 yards, sack loss, and the fumble. Yep. 3rd and 13. Man, run a draw, run a screen, play field
anything
position.
But a drop back pass.
Yep. I agree.
Bad call because it's going to be a turnover more times than not against that defense.
Yep, they're going to
You're not going to pick it up even if you. Best case scenario, you pick up 6-7 yards on a little dump to the running back who runs a short little curl right before the linebackers. It's just there's no recipe for success.
Yeah, you ain't picking up that
That's
first
on
down.
the OC. You can't make that call.
Yep,
you
I
punt,
agree.
and what does our defense do? Our defense stops them. So if we'd have punted the ball, they would have punted right back to us because our defense bows their neck and makes them kick a field goal. Guess what? We're still ahead even with that bonehead call. We're still up 21-20 after that bonehead call because our defense did their job. Thank goodness.
And Georgia and Georgia went stupid.
Defense didn't stop them.
Yes.
After that possession.
Yes, they did. They held them without a field goal and getting the ball back on the 15-yard line.
Field. Yeah.
They had the ball on the 15-yard line. They held them to a field goal because that was
held them to a field goal.
that was the after the chop block on Elijah Simmons and after Darnell Washington was called for offensive pass interference. It backed them up and Georgia kicked the field goal.
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking at this play chart.
First drive of Georgia's first drive of the third quarter.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
first drive, but he's talking about
let me
after we had the sack fumble and they got the ball, we didn't stop them after that.
That
Listen, let me
drive was
I'm
after the sack fumble.
This drive is after the sack fumble. This is a sack fumble right here. This is a touchdown drive.
There are two sack fumbles.
Second.
So again,
Yeah, the two sack fumbles.
Okay, so which sack fumble are you talking about?
The very
The
first
first
drive
one?
of the second half on
Okay.
on 3rd and 14, they sack fumbled JG. They get the ball on the 14-yard line. They get a pass interference. They have to kick a field goal.
And the
Okay, so
stupid
we
chop
held
block
them
that
one
irritated
after
the crap
sack
out of me.
fumble. Now listen, the second drive, we're up 21-20. We've had a sack fumble on the first drive. They get a field goal. We're up 21-20. They kick off to us. We get the ball. You guys know what happened on 2nd and 9 on the second drive of the second half when we're ahead 21-20. We handed the ball off, and we gained 8 yards on the ground to get to 3rd and 1 with the lead on the 40-yard line, on our own 40. And our coach, after we gain 8 yards, decides I'm going to throw a pass because I'm scared of 3rd and 1 against that defense when I just ran for 8 yards. I finally had success in the running game because I kept running the ball.
Yeah.
And he panics and he calls a pass play. If we'd have quarterback snuck it, if we'd have ran a handoff, anything. You know what? Georgia might have stopped us, but it wouldn't have been a pick. It wouldn't have had them in field goal range already.
Yep. So
and we just snuck the ball, which we had already quarterback sneaked against this team and picked it up earlier in the ball game. We had already handed it off for 8 yards on the previous play.
Yep.
But no, we call a pass on 3rd and 1 against that defense. And you know what? If they stop us, tip your hat to them and punt the ball and put them inside the 10-yard line and make them go the length of the field or punt back to us. And guess what our defense did after the pick? We stopped them again and made them kick another field goal, so we're down by 2. And if we'd have punted and not turned the ball over with a stupid play call, we'd have got the ball back and been ahead 21-20 still.
Yep, and that's why I said when Jared's talking to his coaches, they're gonna coach him up on what to do in that situation, and then they're gonna take blame because there could have been a better passing play. If you're gonna pass on 3rd down and 1, which I certainly understand, but you gotta give them a better play where it's quick. Maybe it's a screen out to the outside. It's a better passing play. But yeah, man, you rushed the football for 2 yards, opened that drive, and then you came back for 7 yards, and that made it 3rd down and 1, and that was the interception by Eric Stokes. So yes, I agree with you. That was not a good play selection. Could have ran it, could have snuck it, but even if you wanted to pass it, there's a better passing play that you could have probably ran to get that yard. Now, I do understand the concept of the play. It is a quick hitting play when you have the shallow crosses. It's supposed to open up there, and it's a built-in blitz reaction. So hindsight, Jim Chaney's going to look at that, and like I said before, he's going to tell Jared, hey, man, I could have ran a better play. So I agree with you. And I agree with you. Defense did make a stop on the field goal after that one, and then Tennessee gets the ball back again and
throw it 3 straight times.
they incomplete passes to Cedric Tillman. I mean, Eric Stokes ran the route better than Tillman on that one, and then you came back and you threw it again on 2nd down and 10, and now it's 3rd down and 10, and then you had a great catch by Brandon Johnson and to hold on to that. So now it's 1st down, and guess what happened? You beat yourself because false start or illegal snap or whatever, and that made it 1st and 15, and then you try to throw it again, and then it was 2nd and 15. It was 2nd and 20, so you rushed the football. You got 8 yards of Eric Gray. Now it's 3rd and 12, 3rd and long, and you tried to throw it, just came up a little bit short. So you punted it. Okay, cool, great. Didn't have a turnover, play field position game, cool. So you punted it, Georgia gets the ball, and they go 3 and out. You get the ball back again. And here's what I'm talking about with the 3rd and 13 that should have been either a draw or a screen instead of the pass on 3rd and 13. So you try to get the ball out to Jalen Hyatt. You try to run something different. Here's the adjustment that folks were wondering with the run. We had a caller earlier that said, why do we run the football straight to the middle over and over and over? Well, here's the adjustment. Here's the adjustment trying to be made by Jim Chaney. So you try to get a ball to Jalen Hyatt on reverse, did not work. And then you come back and you try to give the ball to Jalen Hyatt on the screen pass, and man, if it's not there, you just got to take it. You can't try to reverse field. You're gonna lose yards. Just eat the L. But it was a loss of 6 yards. Okay, should have been a loss of 2, all right, or 3, but it was a loss of 6. And then on 3rd and 13, you had the sack fumble.
K. Mays got blown up and JG fumbled, and Wanye did a good job of falling on that football. Wanye had a tough game, but credit him for hustling to get to that football. Georgia would have had 1st and goal from like the 7 or 8 yard line if he doesn't fall on that football, and then Paxton Brooks is punting from the end zone.
Yeah, so just look at all the field position that you're losing here.
Yeah.
All right, so you had an opportunity, man, to kick the ball. If you would have just minimized the negative plays, you could have kicked the ball from your 30-yard line, okay? Instead, you kick the ball from your 7, okay? So that's 23 yards right there in hidden field position.
And really, you didn't kick the ball from the 7. That's just where the ball was snapped. You kicked it from the end zone.
Yeah. So you kicked the ball from the 7-yard line, and it was a great punt, 55 yards. Great punt, and
best punt of the day.
Yeah, man. And you forced a fair catch, so good on the Gunners there. But if it wasn't for that great punt, man, Georgia's probably getting the ball at midfield.
Yep.
Because of those negative plays on offense, and so that's what I'm talking about. How offense can affect the defense so much, man, and special teams so much. It's really a complementary game. altogether. So
and then after that last punt that you talked about, that was when Georgia.
That's when Georgia
finally took advantage. Now, that drive had some plays that I was not a fan of whatsoever from the referees. I thought the referees did Tennessee no favors on that drive. Jalen McCullough did a good job of forcing a fumble, and then the fumble goes right into Trey Hill's hands. Georgia center did a good job of hustling and following the play, but that's just bad luck right there where I believe it was Jalen McCullough that it was him that stripped the football out, and of course it just goes right into a stupid Georgia offensive lineman's hands, and then Tennessee had them on 3rd and 10 after a Darrell Middleton pass deflection, who had 2 of them, but then they find Kearis Jackson for 20 yards on 3rd and 10. Sean Schamberger lost Kearis Jackson in coverage, and what was frustrating about that is that Tennessee was forced to call a timeout before the 3rd down because Banks was trying to get off the field, even though he was the 11th defender on the field. I don't know why he was leaving the field, but he was leaving the field, and Tennessee was about to have 10 defenders ahead of that 3rd and 10 play. So Tennessee is forced to call a timeout, and then they come back even after the timeout and still give up the 1st down because Sean Schamberger was beat in the slot by Kearis Jackson. That went for 20 yards. And then after the 3rd down play, Tennessee had to call another timeout, leaving itself with 1 timeout remaining in the game with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And the TV broadcast showed Jeremy Pruitt not happy with Sean Schamberger. So don't know what happened there. And then that was ultimately
he wasn't happy.
The drive, I think, where Bennett rushed for a touchdown or something along those lines.
It was a touchdown throw to Kearis Jackson.
Oh, yeah, where Schamberger was beat again.
There you go again, right?
Yeah. So but I look at that drive, and the defense shot itself in the foot on that drive without a doubt. But I also thought that was really the first drive in which you could really tell the lack of success on the offensive end hampering the defense because the defense was on the field the entire 3rd quarter, and the defense played well in the 3rd quarter. To Rusty's point about the defense standing tall, they stood tall after Tennessee's first drive on the first fumble on 3rd and 14 where Wanye was beat off the edge by Azeez Ojulari, and then the defense stands tall. That was the drive where Trey Hill and Ben Cleveland chop blocked Elijah Simmons, and thankfully Ben Cleveland whiffed on his block against Elijah Simmons, or Elijah Simmons would have been more seriously hurt, in my opinion. He was able to come back into the game after that chop block, but that was the same exact play that Shai Tuttle had his serious injury on against Georgia.
No, what?
What do you mean?
It wasn't the same play.
The chop block.
Yeah, it was a chop block right in front of your face. Shai Tuttle's was
a cheap play.
The dude was peeling back behind the play, and Shai Tuttle wasn't looking, wasn't expecting it, and he went low. That was, you were engaged right there in front of the defender. Mm-hmm. It's an illegal play. Both are illegal, but one is considered dirty. The other one, in my opinion, is debatable.
I think the chop block's dirty.
The chop block is not dirty. It's how you implement it. It's how you do it, which makes it dirty. But the chop block is a very, very valuable block.
Let me rephrase that. You are correct. The chop block is a very, very valuable block in football. The way Georgia ran it on that particular play with Elijah Simmons was dirty. The way that they ran it on that particular play is not the way that it is intended to be ran in college football, which is why there's a 15-yard penalty assessed on that play. So that was what I agree with you. Chop block, very, very beneficial. Not in that instance. That was
the play being dirty.
I think it's dirty
because it's a play that has been adjusted over time to help with player safety, just like the horse collar tackle. So you can be a defender trying to make a tackle, and you're grabbing whatever you can, and you so happen to grab the back of a player's shoulder pad. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that your intent is to be dirty. That just means that you tried to make the play, and that play that you tried to make is now illegal, and you're getting hit with a 15-yard penalty. So I didn't look at that as those guys intentionally being dirty. You just can't do that anymore. I look at what happened with Shai Tuttle. That was dirty.
Yes. Brandon Cublano.
Yeah, I don't look at that play as being dirty.
I don't give Ben Cleveland the benefit of the doubt because he has a track record of being on the edge and maybe going a little further than he should have. Trey Hill, the center, he had a good chop block of eliminating Elijah Simmons, but while he was engaged with the chop block, Ben Cleveland at right guard came in and tried to hit Elijah Simmons, and thankfully he pretty much missed, and Elijah Simmons did not get hurt. But my point in bringing up that chop block call, that helped Tennessee's defense force a field goal. And then you talked about it, but on the interception, Tennessee's defense came back and made some great plays once again to force another field goal. To'o had a great play. He had a great game in general. Daryl Middleton had another pass breakup at the line of scrimmage, and then Stetson Bennett misfired on 3rd and 7 due to being pressured, and you forced another field goal. And then offensive line penalties hampered Tennessee on the next drive. I don't understand. There were 4 different situations in which Jeremy Pruitt was upset with the referees because he felt, it appeared, that Georgia was saying something along the line of scrimmage to get Tennessee to jump, and it happened 4 times. I know the referees called out individual players, but on the replays it was the entire offensive line moving before the ball was snapped. So Jeremy Pruitt was not happy with the referees. He felt like on 4 different occasions that Georgia was saying something up front to get Tennessee to do that, which is not allowed. That's illegal. That's a penalty. But that hampered Tennessee on another drive, and then Georgia's offense goes 3 and out, but then the offense continued to sputter. JG fumbles again, and then that's when that last drive of the third quarter where defense was just tired and couldn't stand tall anymore.
Yeah, it was a wrap. It was a wrap, man. Defense tried to do what they could, man, there in the third quarter. But
they played well in the third quarter. It's just the amount of snaps overwhelmed them. Even in the first half, they were on the field a ton. Part of that was because Tennessee scored its first touchdown of the game without having to go on offense. But Tennessee's defense on the field way too much because that goes back to the offense's inability to run the football.
So this is why I opened the show with an overall theme of what we have to do, that is improving recruiting. And this is why I started the show and said that everybody is to blame. Not one person, not just players or just coaches. Everyone's to blame. And when you put yourself in a position where you can't run a football, 45 yards rushing, -1 yards net rushing, when you put yourself in that position, the offense coordinator doesn't have confidence that you can pick that up because you haven't been able to pick it up. So you don't blame Jim Chaney for throwing it on 3rd down and 1. You just blame him for the selection of that play. You could do that. But I can see how that play could have been successful. If the offensive line would have blocked a little bit better, Jalen Hyatt could have ran underneath and got a 1-yard catch and got a first down.
Yep.
Like, he was – that fast route, the drag route was coming underneath. It would have been a first down.
It would have been open. It would have been a first down.
Because all he had to do was just stop in that zone, and JG could have hit him right there, boom, first down. Yeah. I see how the play could have been successful. Like, I really could.
That's why I question what pass protection Tennessee was in pre-snap, because how do you allow 2 and it looked like a third when you pause the game and take a screenshot. Part of that was because Wanya Morris was on the ground by that point, but you definitely had 2 Georgia defenders coming off of the edge free, being untouched. So that makes me think that the right play was called, but Tennessee was not in the correct protection before the play, which is on Brandon Kennedy and on Jarrett Garantano.
Yeah, it's easy to say should have ran the football, 3rd down and 1. Offense coordinator made a bad call. But when you look at the play design and you see what Jim Chaney was trying to do, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, JG is supposed to have more than 2 seconds to throw the football. Because even with 2.5 seconds, you're hitting Jalen Hyatt in the hole when he sits down after passing the football on the shallow cross. So I see what Jim Chaney's trying to do, but again,
just didn't work.
This is why it's on everybody, and this is why you got to go recruit better players, so that way you feel more confident running the football in those situations, or maybe you can execute that passing play next time that you decide to throw it on 3rd down and 1. You don't have to run it every time on 3rd down and 1. You don't have to. And I certainly understand when you're not running the football effectively. So 865-255-03. Hour 3 is coming up. We're live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive, Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy. Do you want a custom-themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code SWAIN at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Eight 865-255-03. Let's get back to the phones if we can. And let's see. Let's get to Turkey Man. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, individuals. How we doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing better. I really am. I told myself I wasn't going to get upset, but I let it happen. And I guess I just cared too much. But I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I hate lazy. I despise it. And I'm with you on that. I'm going to put the blame where the blame goes. I love our coaches, and I hope Coach Quick succeeds. I really do. I feel he deserves it. But you said it best. Offensive and defensive reading have it's team sport. I do not understand some things I've seen. Number one, when you allow to have your offensive line to move 4 times in a row because they shifted, and then they shift and you run it into the play they've shifted to. And I have not seen one Utah pass or shovel pass. I have not seen one toss sweep to get to the outside. I ain't seen nothing that we could utilize speed or utilize their rushing to deal with. I haven't. It ain't JG's fault that we got him. I feel like it's lazy that we got him, because when you was hollering about getting a 5-year or a quarterback in the portal, you was talking about Daniels, and we didn't make the effort I feel like we should have.
There was effort.
We needed that.
There was a lot of effort.
We needed that.
There was effort, Turkey, man. I mean, he's not playing at Georgia either, so. But there was effort to get him.
Well, I'm just saying an effort do need, and we can be lazy and we say okay, they didn't get a spring. Guess what? Arkansas didn't get a spring either. Their quarterback looks pretty daggone good. Offense looks pretty good. They just don't have the talent everybody else has got. Ole Miss, yeah, he's a running gun, and that's what that coach is. He's an offensive guy, and there's a defensive guy. But their quarterback looks pretty decent. They don't have defense for beans. You look at Ole Miss, they didn't have spring. We're talking about 3 coaches that didn't even have a quarterback. I hadn't even seen it.
Did Ole Miss play Georgia this
Neither
weekend?
one of them.
Or did Ole Miss play this? Ole Miss played Alabama. They didn't play Georgia this weekend.
Ole Miss put up. Ole Miss put up. I don't know how many points.
48
on Alabama. Okay.
They played the same defense.
I'm just saying. We're talking offense and defense is a game sport. Why don't we use it? Why did we not make adjustments? This is coaching staff. I ain't talking about players. It's coaching staff.
Turkey man,
why did we not make a move and do something to slow down that rush? And why did we not use the shuttle pass? Why did, I mean, you've been running right up when Kennedy at center. Was Kennedy a center?
Brandon Kennedy is the center. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's about as much as experience as we've got up there outside of Trey Smith on the line. I mean, you run the Utah pass, he's got to adjust his block and open up right or left, whichever way he's going to run him, whichever the block is. I just don't understand that to me. As much as we recruit, we've got to recruit better. Apparently, if we have 5 stars, our 5 stars not as good as everybody else's. I don't understand that situation either. But I see our defenses. I see what Pruitt does defensively. It's amazing what our defense did. They was on the field all game, and we got no help offensively, and no way of slowing it down. I mean, we did it 4 times in a row. Rusty pointed it out. 4 times in a row they did that. And we didn't make adjustments. We didn't do nothing on that. That's coaching staff. I'm sorry, but it is.
Coach, everybody's to blame, Turkey man. So I mean that has been my point the whole entire show. And man, thanks so much for the phone call. Like, it's not just on one person or one group. Like everyone has a part in what happened on Saturday. So it's not just on the quarterback. It's not just on the offensive line. It's just not on the coaches. It's everybody. We can go point out, and Rusty did a really good job of pointing out 2 third down long situations where he could have just played the field position and ran a draw or screen or a safer play to punt the football and go play defense because your defense is playing pretty well. Those are fair critiques when you look at the play calling. But the 3rd down and 1, I don't blame Chaney for that 3rd down and 1. I mean, I get what he was trying to do, but you don't have time for a shallow cross to get open. That's not a lot of time to throw the football, and you haven't run the football at all. So I get the 3rd down and 1 call, but I don't understand the 3rd down and long calls. But the calls wasn't bad the whole entire game. So I'm not blaming just the coaching staff. I'm not just blaming the offensive line. I'm not blaming just this or just that. It's a collective effort. It's everybody. And I'm telling you right now, what was said in watching film and dressing that team is, hey, we as a unit, as a group, we didn't get it done. Players didn't make plays. Coaches, we could have called it better. But let's go get better. Let's flush it. Let's go get better tomorrow. They had a scrimmage yesterday, and the scrimmage was for the players that haven't played that much, guys that didn't put in a lot of work in fall camp because they were out because of injury or COVID. And so here's an opportunity for young players to develop and earn some playing time against Kentucky to prove that they know their stuff, to prove that they can be trusted on Saturdays. So that's what that scrimmage was all about. So again, like it's just not coaches, it's just not quarterback, it's just not line.
It's everybody.
But you got to get better players. You got to get better players. Simple as that. So that way, if someone doesn't do their job, then you can pull them. If someone doesn't do their job in practice, you can push them out. I'm not sitting here and tell you that JG is the answer. What I am sitting here telling you is that he's Tennessee's best option. And we got to go out and get better guys in that position that can push them out. We didn't do that. We struck out on Keller Christ. We decided to back off of JT Daniels, because you don't want to ruin an opportunity to get Ty Simpson and a guy that could potentially be a 3 or 4 year starter for you. And so the public doesn't know the conversations that goes on behind the scenes when it takes what it takes to get a guy like a JT Daniels. Man, quarterbacks they're something else, man. You got dads. Listen, it's just another business. And so, yeah, I understand where we are at quarterback. JG needs a clean pocket to be good. He does. He needs that. He's not a quarterback that can experience what he experienced and still be successful. And I'm gonna tell you right now, go look at the quarterback that was available in transfer portal and the quarterback that everyone's talking about the first 2 weeks.
Derek King.
What did he do versus the blitz in the rush this weekend?
Derek King.
He looked the same. Yeah, he had one run of 40, 50 yards. That was great. But other than that, you go look at how many times he was sacked.
I didn't get to watch that game. I was driving back.
I was watching the game. He looked no different. When you have people in your face, when you have an elite NFL defense, there's only so much you can do at quarterback position. And so Derek King struggled just like JG struggled.
Yeah. Look, JG has his limitations.
He does.
JG is not the Joe Burrow type of quarterback that can overcome poor offensive line play on his own.
He can't.
JG is the type of guy
he ain't Dobbs.
He is capable of playing well, but only if he is given protection and the receivers are open. That's what JG is, and that's what we all knew going into the football game, which is why his performance isn't surprising. It's why he played well in the first half. 11 of 13. I think he was around 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 touchdowns where he had 2 really nice throws. Mm-hmm. That was because he had protection on those plays to get the ball out, and he did not try to force anything like he did on the 3rd and 1 call where, you got to take the sack in that situation. There's no bones about it. Mm-hmm. You either take the sack or take an intentional grounding call. Those are your best options. But if you're facing pressure, you're not going to – you can't win with JG when everybody else isn't doing their job, which we already knew. You go back and you look at Aaron Rodgers last year. Packers' offensive line was not good. Or the year before. I can't remember which year it was. It's one of the last 2 seasons. The Packers' offensive line was not good whatsoever. Aaron Rodgers was facing pressure every single play. The pass protection was awful. And Aaron Rodgers, his performance suffered because of it. And what was the narrative that was created because of that? Oh, Aaron Rodgers is old. He's losing it. He doesn't have the same arm that he used to. No, he had a lack of protection, and as a result, his play suffered from it. And then look at what he's doing this year because the protection has gotten better. He's an MVP candidate. He's having a tremendous season. As he said last week, he had an all-time great quote talking about how his down years are some of other quarterbacks' career years. So, look, JG's got to be better, but everybody else also has to be better on the offense.
Let's get to Big Orange Mac and then Buck Nasty. Big Orange Mac, good morning.
Good morning, Jay Swizzle. Good morning, Benjamin.
What's up, brother?
Sometimes you need to get punched in the mouth to bring you back down to earth a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I may sound stupid when I say this. We needed that punch in the mouth. And that makes us go back to the drawing board. Hey, this make some adjustments. Hey, help us get back on track. That's my opinion. You need to get punched in the mouth. We got punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And defensively, I'm really proud of the defense. You got 2 fourth down stops, especially one at the goal line.
Yep.
Their Georgia's running game supposed to be their bread and butter,
mm-hmm.
and they stopped them twice, forced them to kick 2 field goals on a short field due to mistakes by us.
Mm-hmm.
They just run out of gas when your offense can't stay on the field, point blank.
Yep.
And Jay, I understand what you're saying about the 3rd and 1. You get what he was trying to do. In my opinion, use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Go on and run the draw, flip the field. I know Coach Pruitt talked about flipping the field, punt to him. At that point in the game, our defense was playing good enough to get the ball back to the offense to get another 3 and out. I understand, I understand what you're saying, and I understand what Turkey Man, the other cat they called in earlier, 3rd and 1. Hey, if we don't get it, punt it to them. Defense playing well enough to point that game for us to get the ball back. But I understand what you're saying as well. You get why Chaney made that play call.
And Big Orange Mac, let me tell you, that play call by Chaney on 3rd and 1, that is simple. That's just a simple drive concept. That's simple, man. That wasn't extravagant. That is day one install play right there. So, hindsight say, hey, run the football. But I don't know if you're picking up that yard, man. I don't know. You should be able to run that route. It's quick. It has multiple options right there in front of the sticks. You're not waiting to make a pass down the football field. Like if the play design was a design where the ball is pushed down the field, then I would be scratching my head and saying that was a bad call. But that was a short passing completion play right there. And I understand exactly what Chaney was trying to do. So I'm not down on Chaney on that play call as I would be on the 3rd down and 13 and 3rd down and 14 when we passed it.
Trying to chunk it deep and you have like a –
and have some sack fumbles there, like,
5-step dropbacks.
So, I mean, that's just where I am. I'm just letting y'all know, just on experience, man. The drive concept is really simple.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I think like Henry T said, we came as a team, we lost as a team. Ain't no finger pointing. Everybody had a finger in it.
Yep.
It was a team loss. Everybody, coaches, play everybody had can shoulder some blame on that. But hey, we got an opportunity this week.
Mm-hmm.
Home game, Jefferson Pilot time schedule. Hey, let's TCB this week. We got a good opportunity to a good tune up before that team from that red team from the South come up here. So we got a good opportunity this week. And another thing before I jump off here, can we not just do any more games on CBS? I'm so sick of Gary Danielson. Somebody should have sent him some red and black pom-poms.
Bro, that was the first game where I understood exactly why he gets criticism that he gets on a weekly basis from fan bases. I was highly annoyed. Listening to the broadcast. I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that one.
Hey, man, y'all have a good and go Big Orange.
Hey, thank you, Big Orange, Matt. Thank you for the phone call. Let's go back to the phones. Let's get to Buck Nasty. Buck Nasty, good morning.
What's going on, Swaino?
What's up, Buck Nasty?
Oh, I'm out here shaking my worm at all the little fishies out here on the lake listening to you boys this morning.
Oh, boy, that sounded weird. But I don't think you're going to be able to catch any fish on the phone.
I'm just sitting here and
with your worm
this morning.
I don't care how much you're shaking your little worm.
A little worm.
Called in, boys. I'm bad disheartened.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys alluded to it a little bit. We got to recruit better, but I just don't understand how. How do we recruit better when we don't show no progress, when we got blew out again with a team that's probably as good as it's ever going to get? You got 5 stars across the line. You got 4-star wide receivers everywhere, 4-star running backs, and you can't get a yard. You can't do nothing. You had a Butch Jones left over that showed out outside. Kid played a great game, and then just the defense played great football. I mean, I'm tickled for the way that they played, minus the penalties. They sure that up. That defense don't look a whole lot different than Georgia's.
I'll tell you how you recruit better. You got to recruit better at quarterback. You got to go get you got to recruit better at the running back position. You got to continue to do what you're doing at offensive line. And listen, it's just one game now. So, let's not act like this offensive line is going to play like this for the rest of the season. They may, but it's one game, so they could bounce back
against the best competition they'll face all year.
Yeah, I mean, against the best defense in the nation. And so,
no doubt. Georgia's speed.
So they got
lots of people was talking. Yeah. Turkey Man and all them wanted to know why we didn't try to go the outside on the rushes. We couldn't. There's too much speed from Georgia for us to be able to do it. Every screenplay that we attempted was blowed up in the backfield, either wide receiver screen or the running back screen, or even the end around that they run to Hyatt. Yeah, he figured out real quick he ain't in high school no more.
Nope.
On that play.
Nope. They got speed too.
We couldn't stretch them out there. It's just they're a very well disciplined football team. They played great football, and just I don't understand how we get any better to compete unless we land a Joe Burrow, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, one of those type players at quarterback. And I'm not grapping on JG because I thought he played a good ball game. Besides maybe the ball security could be better. But that was all I was wanting to ask, how can we recruit any better when we're going to have to put something against Alabama or Florida just to show something. Is another loss like this, and they're going to turn away. I'm afraid it'll be like Darnell Washington last year after Georgia State. And I'll hang up and listen to what you guys got to say. Thank you. Love the show.
Hey, thank you, man. Remember when Tennessee was losing a lot more than they are right now, you were able to get Henry To'oTo'o, Kavaris Crouch, Darnell Wright, Wanye Morris, because you showed some improvement. And there's plenty of ways you can get better. You don't need a Johnny Manziel, the quarterback. That would be great. But you got to get better at the quarterback position, so where you're wondering, for those who are wondering, man, how's J.G. Steele playing? Well, because no one's beating him out. So you got to get better players to create more competition in that room, which is why I wanted every quarterback transfer, the graduate transfer that was available, J.T. Daniels and Derek King, because I wanted more competition in that room. So you can do that in recruiting. That's one area. Running back, you can go add more at the running back position in that room with dynamic 4- and 5-star running backs. Like, you can do that. You can do that. So the running back room can upgrade.
And the main issue with them is pass protection right now.
Yeah, they can upgrade. Tight end position can upgrade in a big way. The tight end position has been non-existent, okay? So there's another opportunity to upgrade.
In a big way, it can just cease to exist.
You can add some more depth on the offensive line, okay? Here's another one. You need an elite pass rusher that you have to sign. You feel like you have that in Dylan Brooks. You feel like you have that in maybe some others. But they got to get better at recruiting the big boys on the defensive line. That's where you got to get better. Also, at linebacker. Henry To'o was good, but you got to get better there too.
Yeah.
You got to get better
especially
there too.
in pass coverage.
You got to get better there too.
I think you need to recruit the defensive back position better as well. I like Bryce Thompson.
I'm getting there.
Alante Taylor, he's gotten much better since his freshman year, but we have no ball hawks whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm getting there. So you gotta recruit that position better too, because when Sean Schamberger is doing what he's doing, you take his butt out and put somebody else in.
But you can't.
But you can't.
Because it's Danico Slaughter or Theo Jackson.
So you can recruit better, and that's what you have to do. And, guys, the sky's not falling.
No.
It may feel like it is. It may feel like we're hopeless. But I'm looking at this thing without any emotion this morning. You can get better recruiting. You can get better.
As bad of a third quarter as Tennessee had, they were still within reach of winning that football game against, in my opinion, the second best team in the country, behind Clemson, maybe third if you include Ohio State. I think Georgia's better than Alabama right now because of where Georgia's defense is compared to Alabama's defense. We'll see if that comes to fruition on Saturday. Obviously, it won't be a big shock if Alabama wins the football game, but Alabama's defense is not clicking on all cylinders right now, and even outside of the Ole Miss game against Ole Miss's great offense, Bama's defense struggled with Kellen Mond and A&M in the first half, and Missouri was able to move the ball at times, although the scoreboard did not reflect that. So I think Georgia might be the second, third best team in the country, and even despite all the self-inflicted wounds Tennessee had over the first three quarters, they still had a chance of winning that game in the fourth quarter. So I completely agree with you on the whole sky is falling assessment. It feels like it, but it's really not. I think that we'll look back on this in a couple of weeks and think that Georgia's just really good, and that Tennessee isn't as bad as the 44-21 score indicates.
Yeah, I don't know who's better between Georgia and Alabama right now. I'm not willing to say Georgia's better because Georgia's not built to exploit what Alabama gave up this past weekend. Georgia's not built that way. The way Georgia's built is to run the football and do play action pass and to bully up front. And I don't think they'll be able to do that against Nick Saban for 60 minutes. So I'm not willing to say Georgia's better than Alabama until they beat them. So, you know, Ole Miss is built to throw the football. They're built to have success on offense, and they did that. They did that first game, second game, and against a top 5 opponent, even in Alabama. But Georgia's not built that way. Stetson Bennett still hasn't proven that he can play that way, even though, you know, in the second half things loosened up for him and he was able to hit some wide open receivers. But, you know, that Georgia-Alabama game is certainly going to be the game of the weekend. Let's go back to the phones this morning. Let's get to Ray. What's up, Ray? Good morning.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Ray?
Man, I'm still excited about this team. I mean, I know things didn't look that good in the second half, and I know we can pile on and say a bunch of things about what we didn't do right, but I'm telling you, man, our defense has me excited going forward. And I'm just really still excited about what we can do against Kentucky, and if we can clean some things up, you know, on the offensive line, I mean, maybe we can go ahead and go into the Alabama game and one.
Hey, Ray, your phone breaking up there, Ray.
Okay.
Yeah, your phone breaking up, man. Give us a call back, man, if you can.
I'll finish Ray's thought real quick because I agree with the road that he was on and where he was headed with his take. If Tennessee can clean up some things offensively and play better against Kentucky and really just, I'll say it again, clean up things along the offensive line, Tennessee absolutely goes into the Alabama game with a chance to beat Alabama with the way that Alabama's defense is currently playing. I absolutely believe that. Now, the Tennessee defense is going to have to play a really good football game because the Alabama offense is ridiculous. And is showing no signs of slowing down. But if the Tennessee offensive line that we expect to perform well shows up and plays well against Alabama in 2 weeks, Tennessee will absolutely have a chance to win that football game. There's no doubt about it. So
say it again and say it slower.
If Tennessee's offensive line plays up to its potential, plays the way that it should, it absolutely has a chance to beat Alabama with the way that Alabama's defense is currently playing football. Now, Tennessee's still going to have to play an A game without shooting itself in the foot from a penalty perspective and turnover perspective, because it's still Alabama, and you can't give Alabama's offense more opportunities, free opportunities, than they will already have. But Tennessee will absolutely have a chance to win that football game if Tennessee's offensive line plays the way it should.
Let's go back to the phones this morning, and let's see here. Looks like we got Michael in North Georgia. Mike, good morning.
Hey, fellas. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good despite the weekend that we had and how rough it there got at the end. But I'm a little bit fired up this morning, so if you would, just bear with me for just a second.
Okay.
So I think the way that you recruit after what happened Saturday is, especially if you're talking to defenders, but I think you can point to the guys that we've got now, and we all know that we're contending for and we're getting commitments out of, and hopefully in the future, of course, signees out of, better physical dudes, better rated dudes, all across the board. Say, hey, look at what we're doing with the guys that we, inherited, that with the guys we've got now. Just imagine what we can do with you.
That's what you said to Crouch.
I think that's one thing.
That's what you said to those guys, Crouch and the 5-star guys that you got, even when you were losing a lot more. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we brought in a couple of those guys. We certainly didn't have a defense full of those guys, and look at the production that we're getting out of them. Look at where we can take you to the next level. I'm the same guy that's been calling defense for Bama and Georgia. Now I'm doing it in Tennessee. I think that's a recruiting pitch right there.
It is.
And that's what I'll say about that. When it comes to offensive guys, we certainly need some more speed, and I think we need to find, that different type of back. I love Gray, I love Chandler, but got to find that little bit bigger guy, and I think we could have him as a young guy on the roster. But, this is year 3 of a big rebuild. I'm not trying to, make it look all sunshine and rainbows, but it's going to take some time, and here we are competing in these games a lot better than we have in the past. I mean, we had the lead at halftime.
Yeah, with the running back room, there's a tool missing in the toolbox.
Yes.
That's the best way to say it.
They're not incapable. They're just missing a tool.
Yep.
Yep.
I
just want to comment on one other aspect, if I can.
Please.
And all I want to say is, I certainly understand, the third and longs, making the play calls that have been suggested, setting up the punt, flipping the field. I certainly understand that, but I can foresee an alternate reality where if Chaney does, call a draw, he calls something quick and short to get the offense off the field. I that would have been the smarter play, but I can also see a section of the fan base calling him conservative, playing scared. I can just see that happening.
And they would be wrong.
Maybe. Yeah,
I think they'll be wrong in that situation. Third and 14. The percentages of conversion is super low, and so let those people complain, but they'll be wrong.
Exactly.
I think the people that are questioning the 3rd and 13 and 14, passing long developing plays, I think they're right. I think it's a valid criticism. I think the people who are criticizing 3rd and 1, I think I won't say they're right or wrong on this one, but I will say I understand what Chaney was trying to do, and it was poorly executed by the players. Simple as that. So it don't matter if it was a running play. If the execution's out there on a running play on 3rd down and 1, you still ain't going to get it anyways. So you got to have the execution. And if the play was executed properly, they would have picked up a first down. So that's how I look at that. And that was a great phone call and spot on. Spot on, in my opinion.
Before we get back to the phones real quick, want to throw in another positive from the game since there's a negative tone surrounding the game. You understand why, because Tennessee lost and how they lost in the third quarter. But do want to throw in a positive because we love positives here on the Swain event. I was pleased with how the young outside backers played. Thrown into a tough situation after DeAndre Johnson was ejected, and you saw Tyler Barron make some plays. You saw Roman Harrison get after the quarterback and have a nice sack. He had another tackle for a loss later in the game, or maybe not a tackle for a loss, but a pressure off the edge. Well, he had a sack, and then another play. I just can't remember what that other play was. It was either a tackle for a loss or a hurry that flushed Bennett out of the pocket. But you saw Roman Harrison play well. You saw Tyler Barron play well, and then Morven Joseph. He finally gets in the game, and he had 2 tackles for a loss. I know one for sure, but Morven Joseph, Roman Harrison, Tyler Barron. We talk about needing to recruit that edge rusher position. Tennessee has 2 freshmen and a sophomore who look like are going to be good football players for Tennessee. Tennessee is just young and inexperienced at that position, especially after DeAndre Johnson just has a stupid play.
2 tackles for loss for Roman Harrison.
Nice.
Yeah.
And one of them was a sack.
Yep, correct.
So Tennessee definitely needs to continue to recruit that position. We've been saying that since the summer before this game even took place. We knew that was already a need to recruit more SEC level defensive front 7 members, but have to be excited about the future of Roman Harrison, Tyler Barron, and Morven Joseph. They're just young, inexperienced, and as they get more experience under their belt, I think they're going to be really good football players for Tennessee.
Yeah, that's what you're missing. I want to know what's Tennessee missing. How can Tennessee recruit better? Man, they're recruiting good right now. Well, yeah, good is not good enough. Good is not good enough when you're playing in the SEC. So those defensive ends that you saw from Georgia, those are guys that you got to recruit and develop here at Tennessee.
Yep.
The John Hendersons and the Albert Hainsworths and guys like that, monsters up front, that is what Tennessee needs to bring in that they don't currently have.
Nope.
So that's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to go out and target.
That's why you're trying to get Terrion Ingram Dawkins. That's why you go out and get Dylan Brooks. They're trying to get there. And then the other aspect of, and we hate that this is a fact, but it takes time to get experience under your belt. Not everybody's going to be Henry To'oTo'o and be ready to be one of the best linebackers in the SEC from day one. That is a rare occasion. So you got to go out and get the talent, but then you also have to develop the talent once they get here. Again, it's not going to be an overnight fix once they step foot on campus. It may take a year or two. You see Kavarish Crouch improving against the run on Saturday, I thought. He had some big plays there, especially along the goal line. He, Banks, and To'oTo'o kind of teaming up to stop Georgia in those short yardage situations. So you're seeing Kavarish Crouch come along, but he also still has a ways to go before you really feel truly comfortable with him next to Henry To'oTo'o, especially in pass coverage, him and Banks.
Over 100 trucks in stock here, most with the free warranty for life guarantee. New 2020 Equinox 2995 here at Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive. Also, it is truck month in the month of October at Beatty Chevrolet. Silverados, Colorados, priced at right under $30,000 here at Beatty Chevrolet. 2021 Tahoes and Suburbans are in stock and available. New vehicles starting at $10,995. Pre-owned vehicles starting at $5,995. They will trade for anything, so you don't even have to buy a vehicle if you want to come here and just sell your vehicle. Beatty Chevrolet will give you high value for your vehicle. But if you want to trade, they do that too. BeattyChevrolet.com. Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive, Swain event. Be right back.
Of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Guys, Low T Center is open for normal business hours, including Saturdays. Their goal is to help you be the best and healthiest version of you. And right now, if you are concerned with social distancing, Low T Center can help with at-home treatment options for current patients, and they also have great options for new patients too. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted. They'll even help verify it for you. And just a reminder, if you're feeling bad, have a fever, or travel to high-risk areas, please stay home. If you'd like to learn more about getting a comprehensive health assessment, be sure to call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388. Or you can schedule an appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Do you want a custom-themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Then look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. All of their bottles and tumblers are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the tumbler market. New this year are their stemless 12-ounce tumblers, perfect for repping your team while enjoying your favorite wine. They also have new 3-in-1 jackets to use as a koozie for a can or bottle, or you can pop a lid on it and use it as a 12-ounce tumbler or coffee cup. Be sure to check out everything Game Time Sidekicks has to offer at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Game Time Sidekicks, helping fans show your colors and carry your team with unique gear you will actually use.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Swain event live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. October is truck month here at Beatty Chevrolet. Silverados under $30,000 at $29,950. Colorados, the 4x4 crew cab V6 Colorados are at $28,500. Beatty Chevrolet Equinox $29,950. Blazers $28,995. New vehicle starting at $10,995. Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive. Always over 100 trucks in stock, and most with the free Beatty warranty for life. Ben McKee, Brad Matthews, Jason Swain. Let's go back to the phones this morning. The Iris Networks hotline. 90 days, no payment for business internet. Let's get to we got Ray, we got C-Mac. Ray, good morning. No, we got Antonio.
Man, I'm back. I'm in Arizona, man. So I had
good morning.
to pull over. Yeah, I'm in Arizona, man. I'm traveling out to Phoenix.
Man, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
What I was trying to get to as far as heading in, trying to take care of Kentucky and head into the Alabama game is the leadership. Now, because of COVID-19, we don't really have many fans in the stands, so there's really not much that the cameras can do as far as, catching fans doing something crazy. But there's still, I've seen no coverage about any players like a Jawan Jennings, and we definitely miss him. But correct me if I'm wrong, Swain, you're closer to the program. Even with our good run, the little 7 or 8 game winning streak, I still haven't seen any leadership on the sidelines during those situations in the game where we really need somebody to pick everybody up to get us going in the right direction. So, give me your thoughts.
So, during those 6, 7, 8 game winning streak, when you go back to last year, you had guys like Dane Batuli. You had, Trey Smith, and you had Jawan Jennings and Najee Warrior. I mean, you had that leadership that emerged after an embarrassing loss, because that leadership was not present. Jawan wasn't thought of as a leader until that moment, when Jawan said, "Well, I'm the leader. I'm the leader now," but that wasn't the case as far as the view from the team until you had that embarrassing loss, and then Jawan just started to just take over and lead by example by how he played. But usually when you have games like this, man, it brings out the best in you, and I think there is leadership with this football team, but I think you will see more of it. I think you'll get a chance to see some more vocal leadership. You'll see guys step up, because Saturday puts a nasty taste in your mouth. So I think there is leadership, man. I just think it's a different set of leadership, and we'll see how they are able to bounce back. We're not going to be able to see the leadership, because real leadership will challenge each and every guy on this football team, and during this week of practice, we'll call out bad effort. We'll call out bad practice habits. We'll not accept anything from the best, anything besides the best. And I think you'll see more of an example of leadership after this loss, because you saw last year when Tennessee had an embarrassing loss.
I mean, I can't wait to see DeAndre Johnson, this weekend, because I know he's got to try to redeem himself, for making that type of play right in front of the ref,
Yep.
And it's got to be corrected. I mean, I think it will be, and I'm still excited. We're playing like we are finally on defense, playing like some dogs. You know what I mean? Just tenacious. I know we make some mistakes, but I'm talking about finishing plays. Yes, we missed tackles. We did. We missed tackles. But for the most part, we were there. I mean, we were there to make the play. And before, sometimes we wouldn't even be there to make plays. So, I don't know, man. I'm still excited. And I'll hang up and listen, bro.
Hey, man, thank you so much for the phone call, getting up early, calling us from Arizona. And the silver lining is Tennessee won't play another defense like that this season. That would be the best defense they play all season.
Yep.
Now, they'll play a talented football team with a different set of challenges against Alabama. I think Alabama is the most complete offensive team in the country.
Yep.
Right. We put Clemson there. I give Alabama the edge with Najee Harris and then all the speed on the outside. So I think Alabama is the most complete offensive team, which will give Tennessee's defense a lot of problems. But you won't find another defense that is as good as Georgia. So I mean, that's the positive.
Tennessee only plays 2 more defenses the rest of the season that are good as of today. Things could turn around for Florida. Things could turn around for A&M, for Auburn defensively. But right now those defenses are not good. Kentucky and Alabama are the only good defenses that Tennessee will play the remainder of the season as it currently sits today. And even Kentucky's defense has been shaky. Looked good against Mississippi State over the weekend, but KJ Costello was throwing ducks left and right and throwing it right to Kentucky defenders. The Kentucky fan base was not pleased with the secondary over the course of the first 2 games. So Kentucky, on paper, is the second best defense you're gonna face behind Alabama for the remainder of the season. So Tennessee's offensive line, if they get whooped like they did on Saturday at any point the rest of the season, it'll be a big surprise to me.
From dimes to ducks.
Yes.
From Costello. All right, let's go back to the phones.
I don't know about dimes against LSU. He's just LSU's defense was
he broke
butt booty terrible. You could have made those throws, guys running wide open.
He threw dimes. Let's get to the phones and let's get to C-Mac. C-Mac, good morning.
Which is the most absurd train of thought this morning?
Okay.
A, we could still make it to Atlanta by the end of the season. Or B, a coordinator who used to work for the university almost 3 years ago stole defensive signals.
I don't know if either one of them is crazy. I mean, I guess
signals get stolen every single week.
Yeah, I would. I mean, out of the two, if you want me to answer, I would probably say A, because I don't think it's really absurd that defense signals are stolen, because it happens. I mean, we benefited in '06 from stealing the Kyle signals. That's why we knew what to check to, when we did. And Meacham torched them because we knew what they were doing. But I don't think it's crazy for Tennessee to still play like they have an opportunity. I mean, you need Florida to beat Georgia, and you need to take care of your business. So I don't think it's out the realm of possibility. You just can't play like you played against Georgia. But again, you're not playing another defense like Georgia. You're gonna have a different set of problems against Alabama than you do Georgia, even though both teams are littered with 5 stars. They're just built different.
I mean, in some sense, we should have a half leg up on Alabama, considering our head coach used to coach there too. But maybe he could steal some defensive signals as well. I know it's been a minute. I hope y'all been well. The season has been, it's been a ride to say the very least, but it's far from over, and I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating the journey to get even more interesting. So, man, I hope y'all stay up, and look forward to calling y'all again real soon. All right.
Okay, thank you, C-Mac. Appreciate you, man. Hope that you are well. This is why with the hype train, I said let me know what we do against Georgia, because I understand, man. There's peaks and valleys of a football season, man. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. Man, Tennessee last year was at the lowest point, felt like, after losing to Georgia State. Then they go on and finish up, and they win 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you can't let yourself feel like that Tennessee is the worst team in the SEC, and that Tennessee is man, they're back to square one 2018. Like it ain't that serious. It ain't that bad. If you look at it that way. The loss is bad. The way you lost is bad, but it was one loss. It was one loss, and you can't let that loss beat you this week against Kentucky. You got to go out and handle business, because if you lose to Kentucky, now you put yourself in a really bad spot versus Alabama. But beating Kentucky and you lose to Alabama, man, you got an opportunity to win the rest of the games. I mean, you really do. A&M is capable of beating you, but you're capable of beating them. Same thing with Florida, same thing with Auburn, same thing with, I think, the rest of the teams on the schedule. Obviously, Florida presents a different challenge for you, but, man, they sure got some weaknesses that play right into Tennessee's strengths. So you can see the opportunity there, but I think Tennessee has a legit shot at winning seven games this year. And until they lose to a Kentucky or Auburn or Texas A&M, I mean, that's the target, just from us who are not playing the game, who are just watching after three weeks and watching the competition. I mean, I think that's a pretty realistic target for Tennessee, if you don't feel like the sky's falling from one game, one performance against Georgia. Again, Tennessee's not going to play another Georgia defense like Georgia. Let's go back to the phones this morning. Man, I'm trying to hold on to my voice. Let's get to Justin. Justin, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How
Hey,
we
Justin.
doing? So I was at the game, sitting behind the Tennessee bench, and I guess overall there's some positives you can take out, probably a lot more negatives that need to be cleaned up. Swain, I had a couple questions for you from a football standpoint. Do you feel with facing a pass rush like that, we should have gone with a shorter, more compact passing game? It just felt like we had this kind of the same game plan that we did against Missouri, that we did against South Carolina. Try and run the ball, pick up yardage there, and then take deep shots down the field on the sideline. I just didn't see a whole lot of new wrinkles. And against an elite defense like that, I mean, it just felt like they knew what was coming. What are your thoughts on that? And I got another question after that.
I think the game is pretty simple. I think every game you got to try to run the football, and you have opportunities that you have to take your deep shots, because if you don't, safeties will move up, play in the box, corners will squat, everybody will compact, and then it'd be really difficult to do anything, running the football or throwing short. So you have to take shots. You have to keep them honest. If you never do it, then they won't respect you. So, do I think we should have ran some more screens? Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel that way. Running back screens or a wide receiver screen, tunnel screens. You saw where Georgia ran it with Karis Jackson. He got called back because of lineman, because Karis Jackson, actually it's because Bennett threw the ball more upfield, and then Jackson wasn't behind the line of scrimmage. But I was hoping to see more of what they did there on that play with tunnel screens and things like that.
They tried. Georgia just covered it.
To use Georgia's pass rush against them. We didn't run tunnel screens.
They ran screens to the receivers.
They ran the one to Hyatt, but
that's not tunnel
it
screen.
seemed like the numbers weren't there for
Yeah,
it
they
to
didn't
work.
run tunnel screen. That's easy. That's easy for Georgia defense. I'm talking about tunnel screen where you're replacing the linemen who are rushing, a tight end screen. You're replacing those linemen that are leaving and rushing. A screen in the middle of the football field, but throwing the ball to the outside. Yeah, that's a screen with one guy front blocking and everybody pursuing, but that's not a tunnel screen. All right, your next question.
Yeah. And I've called in. I actually called in on this same question last year, and it's just one. And I guess being behind the team, I'm fortunate enough to see what goes on. And I'm not trying to point a finger at this particular staff member, but what angers me the most is when our offense comes off the field, our quarterbacks sit in a tight little circle on the sideline, and Winky talks to Garantano on the way in and then kind of goes about his business. Where's that sitting down, with either a printout, iPad, whatever, going, hey, all right, this is what we're showing on defense, from Georgia. Hey, this is where the blitz is coming from. This is the play we're going to, check into. Or have they not given Garantano that reign to kind of make those calls, and then when we send in the play, it's just he's going to run what's called? Because one thing that I thought Georgia did extremely well against Auburn and extremely well against us, and it caused multiple false start penalties, was that just before the ball is snapped, that pre-shift, disguise what's coming, and you get so many of those offensive linemen leaning back on their heels because they see this whole line shift. The stadium's loud, and you get a false start. But really, it's disguising, who's picking up what defensive linemen, who's picking up what linebackers, and that's something I wish we could do on defense, because I think it's very, very hard to address. But what are your thoughts on the QB coach working with our QB?
You're not going to see iPads and stuff on the sideline because it's not professional. They have that iPads and tablets, things like that on the sideline, printouts before Microsoft was a sponsor of the NFL. So you see Microsoft Surfaces on the sideline. But there are adjustments made. Jim Chaney is talking to Chris Winkie. They're making adjustments on the sideline. And so, just because
JG also made 2 checks that I can vividly remember away from the original play call. Both resulted in loss of yardage. One was a run, and one was a swing pass to the back. Both negative yardage. So I know he has the ability to at least check on some plays.
Yeah, he doesn't have free reign, but I don't think they treat him like a freshman either. But adjustments are being made, from Chaney down to Winkie, and JG is telling people what they see. So just because you don't see the electronics doesn't mean the adjustments are not being made, because you can't have those in college anyways. Appreciate the phone call. We got 2 more callers, and so let's get them in before we wrap up today's show right quick. So pull that down for us, Brad, and then let's try to get 2 more phone calls, and then we'll wrap up today's show. So we got Vol Nation and then Chip and Jackson.
What's up, family?
Good morning.
Morning, man. Y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, good. Hey, man, but anyway, Loved the game. At least the first half was much better than the second half. But like I said, the reason why I'm excited about this team is because of what you saw out there. There were some flashes of a definite improvement. Every week you're seeing them getting better and better. That team that played yesterday, well, except maybe for the offensive line, but we were playing against, of course, Georgia's defensive line. They would have played against South Carolina a lot better, And so I'm assuming, looking at this, they would take what they've learned over the course of that game. They got a lot of tape to look through and a lot of improvements to make. But then they can take this into this coming week, shake that off, like you said, got to snap and clear, go out there and punish Kentucky, and then get ready for Alabama. Because I don't see another team on the schedule that they can't compete against and can't win against. And there's only one other team maybe that they may have to be not necessarily perfect, but you can't beat yourself.
Bama's a bad
matchup, and that's what happened yesterday. Of course, Georgia, there's a gap there in between talent levels. You saw that it's exerted in the second half because the defensive line asserted themselves because, once again, in the first half, they were kind of neutralized. It was kind of like back and forth or whatever. And we did what we had to do to take that lead. But in the second half, you saw them take that next step up, that next level. And that's what we have to get to, And so we can't beat ourselves with turnovers. We got to take opportunities when they're there, like picking balls off, intercepting, because if you make that interception, that takes 7 points off the board. You take 13 points off the board without those turnovers. All of a sudden, that's a really close game if you go out there and do what you're supposed to do. We got some things that we can fix, some things you can't. Some officiating, you can't fix officiating. But you can fix your part. You can stupid penalties. You can fix turning the ball over or putting it on the ground, or you can fix alignment. You can fix certain play calls, execution of play calls. You can do those things. And I expect this week to go out there and take care of business and get ready for Alabama. I'm excited about the program, excited about it, and that's why I'm on the train, because I'm seeing tremendous progress and I'm seeing them move forward. So
I appreciate that, Vol Nation. I think there's a reason to be optimistic after that game. I think what happened Saturday, if they don't play well and there's signs of wow, Georgia's really beating them again this week, then okay, then there's a legit reason of why your optimism shouldn't be as high. You should be back and wait and see. Let me back up a little bit, but that's one game. It's a terrible matchup for Tennessee, and Tennessee didn't meet it. They certainly got beat up, and the blame is on everybody, from coaches to players. It's on everybody, and you got to adjust, go back to the drawing board, and be the team that you were in the first 2 weeks, and that is playing mistake-free without all these dang penalties, pre-snap penalties, dumb penalties, things like that. You can't do those things, and then taking care of the football. So get back to playing the way you played in the first 2 games and how you played, the back half of the season that was the reason why you had the win streak, which you didn't turn the football over. You got to get back to that. And Tennessee does that against Kentucky. They should win, and then they'll fight like heck against Alabama. I think Alabama's a terrible matchup for Tennessee. And then after
offensively,
it's a terrible matchup for against Alabama. And after that, moving forward, hey, man, you never know. You never know. Just work each and every day to improve, and then let the chips fall where they may. So anybody else on the line?
Yes, we do. I believe it's Chip and Jackson.
Let's get the Chip. Chip, good morning.
Hey guys, just real quick, a couple things. First off, thank you for staying on for me. I know y'all are getting out of there. I just wanted to leave with a couple of comments. I listen to you guys every day. Appreciate you guys, everything you do. Positive outlook on that game. I thought, first of all, we came out of there pretty much injury free, and that was the hardest hitting game that I've seen Tennessee play in a long time. There was a lot of paint being swapped.
You're right.
And aside from Elijah getting hit by about between 600 and 700 pounds from 2 ends, I thought we sustained pretty good against a really, really good defense. And JG played, I thought, pretty much lights out that first half. Honestly, he should have taken 3 or 4 sacks, and he got away from pressure. So, and 100 and I think he had like 124 yards in the first half, 2 touchdowns. That's not bad. I just think that they made adjustments and they whooped us in that second half. But again, I think the main takeaway is we've gotten tough. I think Tennessee's gotten tough, calloused, and they're taking these hits and they're not getting injured. 3 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. So proud of them. I thought they did a great job. I appreciate you guys. Y'all do such a good job at everything. So appreciate y'all. I'll let y'all get out of here, and we'll be listening tomorrow.
Hey, thank you, Chip, man. Hey, we are the restaurant or the department store that will stay open until the last customer finish. So
yeah, there you go. You got to credit AJ Artist there with the comments from Chip.
Yes, absolutely, man. That was a good point. Something that we did not highlight, and during this show was physically they held up. No one was broken in half, no one was hurt. So that is a really, really good point. So I said it would be a ice tub type of game, and I'm pretty sure those guys yesterday spent a lot of time in the training room just trying to regenerate their bodies and get themselves ready to go this week for practice, because you gotta put your bodies through it and practice to prepare for Saturday. So that's why you pay the millions and millions of dollars for all the equipment. For Brad Matthews, I am Jason Swain, and Ben McKee, for Ben McKee as well. Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Right now, guys, at Low T Center, new self-injection testosterone treatment, so you can social distance and get your treatment that you need, feel like you used to feel. lowtcenter.com. 865-392-1388 is the telephone number there at Low T Center right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. 5 locations in Tennessee. Go to the website, find the nearest location to you. Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive is where we will be every Monday, and we're here today. And thank you for your ears this morning. Have a great day. Peace and love. We are out.
For replay